All right, they should be able to see us and hear us. We are live. We are Adventures in Lollygagging, and we are continuing our Those Dark Places game. It's a little sci-fi horror. Looks like this. There we go. There's also a little picture on the overlay. So Those Dark Places by Osprey Games, Jonathan Hicks, writer. We've played this twice now. This is going to be our third time playing. This one actually is a continuation, a part two of our last one. We'll do a little summary here in a second. But if anyone's in the channel, hello, thank you for joining us. If you're catching this later on VOD, on YouTube, something like that, that's cool too. We'll probably be playing this on and off for a while because we all seem to like it a lot because it's simple, it's easy, and it's got a cool theme. All right, let's just start by let's just get into your characters. How about we start there, and then we'll do a story summary. So Melissa, who are you playing? What are you good at? And give us like something about your character.
So I am playing Amalka. She is good at helm and navigation. Um, she's taken some pressure, so she's at pressure level 2, which means she's not kind of handling things particularly well. Um, then I listened to the end, and I'm apparently brave because I like pulled out my gun and went ahead of Derek's character, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, you go right ahead with that." So,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little bit brave.
What about? Is there anything personal we can learn about Amalka? Like as you think about her character, like I want us to know her a little bit more, so that when
Oh,
she dies in a moment or
oh
two,
dear.
we can really feel the loss. You know.
Um,
Do you remember anything?
mm,
Everybody, you're gonna get similar questions, so make sure you're prepared.
I can make up something that would
Okay.
be
Let me watch our
personal
YouTube
for
video so I can remember what I said last time.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it last time just to refresh because we played. It's been like 4 weeks.
I don't remember what the dream was. I know you always ask about dreams, and I
Yeah,
don't
I
remember what the
do.
dream
I don't
was.
always ask about dreams. I only ask about dreams when it's like long sleep stuff because like I have
Well, yeah,
the alien
yeah,
stuff in my head about like what are you dreaming about, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's like not a pass. Like that's like a D or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
sorry.
Oh, hey there, Jonathan. How's it going? Thank you for hanging out. We're just getting started, but if you folks, I already mentioned this once, but if you haven't, you should get this. It's simple, it's easy, it's a fun little game. If you're a fan of Alien, if you're a fan of like Event Horizon or Outland or like basically any kind of like space horror, early, even The Expanse I think works as well. So there's another one to take a look at.
We're having a lot of fun with them.
Yeah. So definitely take a look. All right, Derek, who are you? What are you good at?
So my character's name is TieZon, and I'm particularly good at charisma. And then I guess my second thing is education. So I smooth talked our way through a potentially violent scenario last session four
That's
weeks
true.
ago.
That's
We
true.
talked a gun out of someone's hand. I don't remember too much about what Tyzon looked like, but I do remember that his dream he had while he was sleeping was that he was riding his bike with his niece. I think she was
Yeah.
between 7 and 9, and so he's super into like or not astrology, astronomy, and like cosmology and all that.
Okay.
And so just rides bikes with his niece, hangs out in the park, just gets lost in thought, geeks out about black holes and stuff, event horizons, everything like that, even a little bit of quantum superposition. And we'll say that he's I hope this doesn't conflict with what I said last time, but I think he like wears like, like sleeveless shirt, kind of looks like a hippie, like a lot of beard, works out a bit because he rides his bike. So he doesn't look like a sciencey nerdy guy, but is a sciencey nerdy
Are you
guy.
describing yourself now?
No, because I'm not buff at all.
Okay.
And this is just laziness. This isn't even a beard.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't honestly remember what your character was, but I definitely remember that dream for sure because you were the
That's the
one.
one thing I remembered.
Yeah, because that's how we started last session for
Yeah,
sure.
waking up with a ship full of
Mm-hmm.
strangers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's go bottom row. We got Long.
Yes, I'm playing Zayas Jr. He's a tall, slender man, loves his deep V-necks, likes his booze. He just wants to be a baker.
Okay. Like bake cook. Wait, what? He wants to be a baker?
Yeah, it's his dream.
Okay. Like he wants to marry into my family. Got it. All right. And finally, Ashley.
I'm playing Lucille. She's like our mechanic of the crew. And She was basically, think like Podunk Diner. She's got like that burnt blonde hair where it's been like permed too many times and
Okay.
like dyed blonde. So it's
Peroxide
just
blonde?
it's crispy. And then she's got like enough hairspray in her hair that it's probably just super flammable. It's a fire hazard. She's short stacked, but she's built like a brick house. And yeah, she's a weird lady. Meatloaf is her favorite musician.
singer?
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, is it
Yeah.
the food? Because you mentioned diner and brick house, and I'm like, well, it
Yeah.
sounds like meatloaf
No.
combination. Okay.
Her favorite artist, and yeah, that's Lucille so far.
Okay, and do you all remember which NPC you have trailing you around right now?
Ella.
Yeah, we have Ella. That's right. So
Yeah.
Ella's just a friendly NPC that you all saved in a previous kind of adventure we did that we just decided to carry over into this one, and she's been following you around. Okay, so let's get in the summary. What do you all remember? Let's start there, and I'll fill in some gaps as necessary.
Like, I can recount a pretty good amount of the last session. We were woken up by Ella. We had been out for, we actually don't know how long, but we were being observed / potentially possibly treated for the yellow fog coming out of people's mouths and the boils or sores that are all over people. At least that's what we assume, because we found some records and documents in the various computer terminals of the scientist on the station. We also found some not so lucky folks. I think it was like a total of, it was between 4 to 8 people that did not make it. One was still alive. I think that was Justin's character. We kind of just left him.
Logan's
so,
character.
It was Logan's character. Okay. So
Kev.
then we started exploring the ship, finding some people had like what we presumed disintegrated into a powdery substance.
Possibly.
Because we found somebody and we found a shoe in one spot and a shoe in another spot with a bunch of powder everywhere. Then we started getting paranoid and like cleaning ourselves with bleach and whatnot, because there's just like powder in the air and powder on our skins, and we put on some scrubs. So we started to explore the ship some more. That's how we found all the medical records and documents, and so we needed to get to level 1, I believe, to get the escape pods or escape shuttles. So we just started making our way around the ship, and that's when we ran into the soldier whose name I've already forgotten, even though you just said it like literally 10 minutes ago.
Reese Anderson.
Reese Anderson, yeah. Had an awkward standoff where they were trying to shoot us and kill us, but we were able to talk our way out of it, get them to trust us as much as they could in the situation. They told us to look for their partners that were with them, and they
Stevie
are not going
and
to make
Pike.
it.
Stevie and Pike. That's
Yeah,
right.
that's right. Yeah.
Look at you. All right.
Yeah. Stevie and Pike. And so that's who we went to look for. Reese, unfortunately, was not going to make it, so we gave her a very medicated way out of the ship. And then we ran into, or we started hearing some creepy noises, and we started seeing these humanoid-looking creatures, though I think they were somewhat somewhat gelatinous or slimy looking, and they had tendrils that would come out of their mouths whenever they opened it.
The big thing here is they're fibrous like, so like they're kind of,
that was it.
Yeah, so it's like think of almost, you ever heard of the game Unravel? You know what I'm talking about, that cutesy little like red yarn person? It's kind of like that, except not remotely cutesy. It's like yellow, black, green, kind of like, and like there's
terrifying,
weird,
just like eldritch horror kind of.
Yeah. And so what happens is like they tend to like the fibers begin to separate, and then they kind of vibrate and they make these loud sounds that you presume are going to attract other things or something like that. That's a pretty good. Yeah, you hit pretty much all that you need to hit. A couple other specific things I'll touch on. I'll add. You know that you're on the 3rd level of a 4-level structure ship, something like that. You've actually learned that you're not on a space station, or you're not on a spaceship. You're specifically on a station. Where that station is, you're not sure. You know that the elevator, there's an elevator in the center, but you haven't actually got onto it yet. All you really did is kind of explore the various patient rooms. There were 4 different patient rooms, and it was your own, and then 2 others. One of them, people were dead. One of them, people were unconscious. The third one, you like kind of peeked in, and it was like you saw some weird stuff behind some sheets and stuff, but you never really investigated too much on that.
Wasn't that the creepy sound room as well? There was like a weird sound.
No, that
from
was
it?
actually a completely different wing. So there was like a different.
Okay.
And then you on level 3, you peeked into what looked like some kind of laboratory, and it was completely dark. You heard some weird. That's the sound I was doing, and then you heard like a fire extinguisher or like a canister of air got knocked over, and you closed the door really fast. Then you looked into a different patient wing, and you just saw like spider webs of these different like fibers connecting to different sides of the room, and like this little dog-sized creature that was just like dragging itself across and began to like shout and echo with its vibration. And you closed that door and noped out of there, and then you looked into the office, like you said. So
We also took quite a while to find a security key.
yeah,
So we had to like go through like the remains of an individual to
it's
get
pretty funny.
like a security key to open doors.
Yeah, but you do, because your ID chips were removed. They were like ripped out of your
Yeah.
but you do have chips from
Dr. Grobel.
yeah, so from Dr. Grobel, and you are currently in the office of Dr. Gabriel Diaz. So we're gonna start up there, and I this is I can't believe I'm gonna say this because this is a game that doesn't necessarily have like in-depth moments of combat unless you want them to, but we're gonna start in combat because at the very, very end you all pushed open, like I would say Amalka and TieZon. You pushed this door open. You saw a body on the ground. It was like a merc body. They had a shotgun next to them, and there was like this long tendril that was like kind of attached to their chest in some way, and like getting last gasp breath, this creature spun around inside of a desk chair. Its fibers began to separate. It started to vibrate and make a sound. Pustules were like multicolored and kind of changing as if it was trying to do something. And yeah, so Zayas and Lucille, you are on the complete other side of the conference room with Ella by the door that goes out to the elevator. So you're not actually seeing this or particularly close to this. You're a good 20 to 30 feet, on away, and there's like a big old disheveled conference table in the way. So we've already rolled, so we can get started, and let me get some music going. And so as again that chair turns around, this figure, almost like a head, like you think it just begins to separate, like it stays tied at the top, stays tied at kind of a neck area, and just sort of pulls apart at the middle, begins to rapidly vibrate. You see these pustules, these tumors begin to kind of glow and change shape as if they're trying to do something with them, but it's not functioning in a way that you would understand. And TieZon, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
So how loud is this like vibrating, screaming sound that it makes?
Oh, it's pretty loud. Yeah, I would say Zayas and Lucille can hear the sound from where they're at.
Okay, so there's no point in trying to just sneak or back out and be like, oh, no one heard that.
Yeah.
How far away is the shotgun from me? You said it was on the floor next to the body?
Yeah.
Would I be able to like reach down and grab it?
Oh yeah, I think you could. I would say you could be able to, you have no idea if it's loaded, if it's ready to shoot or anything like that, but you can definitely reach down and grab it.
Cool. Yeah, so I'll do that, and then if I don't know if that counts as like my action. So if not, I'll try and shoot it, and if it's a pump, and it doesn't shoot, I'll pump it and try and shoot it again, see if it's loaded.
So this is what we'll say. You dive down into the ground, you get it, you go to fire, and you hear a click. It's not firing. It's been fired recently. But I'll say as part of your action, we'll say you can kind of reach down and grab like a couple loose shells that have fallen out of the merc's pockets, and so that'll be your turn.
Okay, like 3 shells.
Let's do just like a D6 roll, maybe.
Oh yeah.
That's how many you get. Yeah, there's like 5 there, right in reach of you.
Okay.
Okay. And so that was TieZon, and Amalka, it's your turn.
Okay, so I did have pistol at the ready as we were coming in.
Yeah, that's true.
So I definitely want to shoot
Okay.
this.
So you can go ahead and, if you recall, it's security and agility. So you roll your agility. If you have any points in security, you can add them as well. And yeah.
6.
Okay, remember that you need a 7 or higher. So that's actually, you're going to hand shaking a little bit as the pressure has been getting to Amalka a little bit. You fire, and it just goes clear through. Like, it was a good shot. It was going right at the head, but the fibers are just spreading apart and allowing just projectiles to fly right through it. Okay. Do you want to move or anything like that? Because you're right now just standing in the doorway. Did you want to do anything else?
I want to kind of allow other people to come in behind me if they want to. But out of range of this thing if at all possible.
Okay. So do you want to step outside of the room, or do you want to stay in the room? Let's put it that way.
What's the dimensions of the room again?
It's like an office. It's a decently sized office with like a small couch to the left. There's like the desk is not against a wall. It's just a floating desk, and then there's shelves along the side. So we're looking at maybe like a 15 by 15 or so.
Okay. I'll step out just outside the door.
Okay. All right. So then this thing will go next. And as it's continuing to, its head kind of continuing to vibrate and vibrate and vibrate, you're going to see TieZon as this thing growing out of just some random part of its torso. You just see these fibers begin to start forming and weaving themselves, and they just shoot in your direction as a tendril just reaches out and tries to latch itself around you, being the only target left in the room. So this is a ranged text. This is agility. Okay.
Uncanny dodge.
But because you had kind of gotten to the ground, hiding a little bit below the desk, it shoots over top and just manages to swipe a couple books off the bookshelf behind you, but you manage to dodge out of the way. It then begins to rise up out of the desk, and you realize that it's much bigger than you thought as its head just begins to grow, fibers just beginning to pulsate, and all of it is kind of unraveling and raveling in different places. All right, next up it's gonna be Zayas. You've heard a gunshot. You've heard a weird screaming sound that would actually, you've heard that sound before, so you would know because when you opened up the door to the other patient wing, you saw that little dog kind of do something similar, but it's even louder now. You see Amalka dive back outside and is like hiding. What would you like to do, Zayas?
I'll look the others with me. Seems like we got contact, and I'll run in.
Okay. I would say because of where you were, it would take your whole turn to get into the room.
Okay.
Is that cool? Do you want to get into the room, or do you want to like wait with Amalka outside?
Let's go in.
Okay, yeah. So you go in, you see TieZon on the ground. He had just picked up this shotgun. He's rapidly loading it as fast as he can, hands kind of shaking as it's happening. This strange tendril-like coil is kind of receding back into this body of this creature. Lucille.
I would like to head towards the room.
Okay, so you start running as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do like Zayas didn't go in, or do you want to stay outside with Amalka?
I'll stay outside with Amalka.
Okay, so we'll say the two of you are flanking the door on either side. Okay. All right. Top of the round, TieZon. You have grabbed the shells. We'll say if you want like move, we'll say you can load and then fire with your shot if you want to do that.
Yeah, sounds good. So I'll make my agility roll.
Yeah,
hey, exactly 7.
That is good. Go ahead and roll a d6 for damage. Shotguns have this is going to be range difficulty as 7 because you're right over top of like they're still a couple feet from each other, so
yeah.
So it's got a damage cap of 3. You're going to be able to do 3 damage to it. Okay. And as you
wait, it has a damage cap of 3. What does that mean?
So the way damage works in this game is that weapons have a damage cap. So when you roll a d6,
oh, I see.
Yeah, if you roll equal to or above the cap, you do the max damage, which is 3 for a shotgun. If you roll under the cap, you do whatever you rolled. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So because it has a cap of 3 and you rolled a 5, you do 3 damage.
Cool.
But yeah, you can see that blows this, like a couple of these fibers on its side, just rips them apart like you would kind of tearing almost like tissue paper or string in some way. They look to be struggling to like rewind themselves. And then you can see that there's, as they ripped apart, this little bit of like yellow-green gas just kind of puffs into the air and begins to sort of float around the room. Then it's going to be Amalka.
All right, I'm going to peek back around the corner and try to shoot again.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is strength, right?
No, when you're using ranged weapons, it's agility. So agility, if you have security.
Ooh.
Okay. That will
10.
most certainly hit, even though there's a couple people in the room now that you've got to concern yourself with. A 10 is still plenty good. Roll a d6. And you're carrying
4.
a pistol, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that is enough to do max damage as well. And so you start firing at this thing, and you see a few more of those fibers begin to rip apart. And then it will be its turn next. Do you want to move or anything, Amalka?
I'm going to stay back
Okay.
where
So
I was.
you all watch then as this thing shoots again from somewhere in its relative torso, like this, almost like a Spider-Man shot of like a spider's web, just shoots a little tendril up towards what looks like a vent, very small vent like this, not big enough for people to crawl in, and it just drags itself up there and begins to contort itself and starts dragging itself through the vent itself. It doesn't pull the panel off, it's just finding its way to weave in between it.
Are there any attacks of opportunity in this game?
No.
Oh, okay.
And so it's gonna get in. It's basically climbing in there at this point. And as it's doing so, each of these like little like tumorous growths just sort of pop when they come in contact, and you can see that this kind of green-brown sludge just drips down the side of the wall. Zayas, what do you want to do? You can see that there's still fibers that haven't quite made it all the way into the vent.
I'll see if I can latch onto them. Are
Okay.
they in reach?
Yeah, you can reach up and grab it. I'll say, so you step around the desk, get over to the corner of the room near the vent where it's going, and you reach up to grab it. I'll say roll a strength. If you got security, you can add your security. Roll a strength to see if you can pull.
6.
Okay. Yeah, you reach out and you grab it, and like it was surprisingly slippery. Like it didn't look slippery, or at least it was sort of dusty. Like it had some kind of substance on it, and it just pulls your hand right off, and like you have like dust and kind of this black green substance all over the palm of your hand, but your hand just goes right through the tendril. Lucille.
So it's all gone now.
No, it's still kind of hanging there. Like when its next turn comes around, it'll try to finish its escape.
I have some of those just other jars of concoctions with alphanumerical like nonsense. So I kind of just want to like uncap one and then like splash it over.
Okay. Those are those are pretty tiny. Those are like little injection things. Like
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I should use like a syringe for it.
Yeah, I mean they're medicine. They're it's not just like a big old milk jug or anything like that, but they're tiny little canisters.
I was thinking like the tube little things. Never mind then. I have. I can't remember if I had like a knife or anything.
It should be in your inventory. If it's on your sheet, you got it. If it's not on your sheet, you don't got it.
Then I don't. So then I'm just chilling.
Okay. You have a screwdriver?
Yeah. No, my idea was to try and cut a piece of it off and then get it into like a container. But
you can certainly try to do that with a screwdriver. I would say, I'll ask for like a difficulty of 8 as opposed to 7, since it's not like a full loaded weapon, but you can certainly try.
okay.
We'll say strength, since it's basically a melee attack.
Damn.
Oh.
7.
You manage to stab this thing, but even as you stab it, it just sort of splits, and the
Got
blade
it.
goes like the blade of the screwdriver just stabs into the wall, and little plaster falls down. And TieZon, your turn.
I'll try and take one more shot at it with the old shotgun
Okay, so at this point, you're shooting at a small vent that both Zayas and Lucille are standing in front of with a shotgun.
I
How
don't know
high
these
up is-
people.
I was gonna say, how high up is the vent? Like,
It's I mean, it's like you're
Near the
reaching
ceiling?
for the ceiling. Sure, we'll say this: if you roll
If I-
if you roll a natural 1, something bad might happen.
right. I was gonna say, would it help at all if I got on the desk to like make myself more level with
Yeah,
the
I like
vents all
that. Let's
above
do
them
that.
at least?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
I missed.
You step on top, you take a shot, and you blow a hole in the wall a bit. You can see a little bit of like the frame of the wall behind it, and a plaster just falls down. A big chunk of sheetrock just falls right on top of Zayas' head and crumbles. And then it'll be Amalka's turn.
Can I try to track where it's going? Like where the vent is going?
Roll a navigation test.
Okay.
I think you do have a layout of the area that you're in.
So is that education plus navigation?
Education, navigation. It's fine.
All right. So it'll be a 10.
Okay. If you understand the way the vents work, you think that these are just HVAC vents. They're pretty small. So you think that it's probably like air circulation. So more than like it does that's not, as far as you know, that's not connecting to another room. Like there's another room behind it. So you would think there's probably a vent that goes up or down behind it. So it looks more like it's a vertical escape.
So if it's in it, it's going up. It's not going.
Yeah, it's going
Side to
into
side.
the vent now, but you would assume that vent doesn't like continue into another room on this floor. Either
Okay.
it's going to go vertical back to the source, or it might go downward as well, because you do know there's a floor beneath you.
I'm going to see if I can get on top of the table where TieZon is
Okay.
and see if I can kind of hoist myself up after it.
Okay. I would say if there's something you want to do, you probably want to do it on this turn, because it's going to go next, and it's probably going to be able to get away. So if you want to try to do something,
Okay. Then I'll just get on the table and shoot it then, since
Okay.
the opening isn't vacated yet.
okay, go ahead and roll an attack. Yeah, absolutely.
10.
I'm going to say that you managed to shoot, and the fibers try as best they can, but you hit a point where it's still kind of where right as the tail end of this thing is trying to slide between this little grate. You shoot it right at that base, and a whole chunk of fibers just fall to the ground. Some of them fall on top of Zayas, on Lucille, some of them fall directly to the ground. But you
So
managed
I rolled
to
a
do it.
10, but then my d6 after that was only a 2.
Okay. Yeah. 1 damage was enough to do all that.
Oh, okay.
But Zayas and Lucille, you still hear as it's kind of moving as well. So I'm going to go ahead and drop us out of combat at this point. All right. Go ahead and slow that down. As when you look, those of you that are on top of the desk, you can see it still kind of scatters, as if this thing still had a little bit of life left in it, but there's a chunk of them on the ground, and they're all writhing around like what happens when you take the tail off of a lizard, how it just kind of swirls around a bit. Zayas and Lucille, some of them just fell on top of you, like in your hair, on your shoulders. What are you doing?
I am getting that stuff off me. I spent
Yeah,
too much time and money on this hair.
I'll pick one off and maybe take a closer look.
Okay. So you take one off of you, and you can see that it begins to wrap itself around your finger.
Oh, I'll shake it off.
Okay, you shake it off really quick. Well, just in time for it to fall, and you can still see it's kind of moving, and it's trying to move around. You can see like little tiny specks of it just step forward and move, and step forward and move.
I want to, because I gave that one lady sedative or something.
That's true.
So I have an empty little container. So I want to get that little piece inside the container and close it up.
Sure. Yeah, I would say you're able to do that. No problem. Yeah, it's a little. Once you saw it trying to wrap itself around Zayas, you probably grab a like a book or a magazine, and you kind of brush it in easily enough.
Like a cricket.
Exactly. But yeah, you have a tiny little jar, a little sample of this infectant. All right.
You should see who this unlucky guy is.
Yeah, does stomping on them or stamping on the ones that are writhing on the ground looking for, I guess, where to reconvene, does it kill them or do they just split into smaller pieces and still writhe?
As you begin to stomp on them, you start to see like these little tiny specks, these little colorful specks, almost like there's growths in there. And as you smash on them, eventually it works. Like they just become inert and they seem to be dead.
I'm gonna have Amalka double check me to make sure I don't have any in my hair.
Yeah, you go through her hair.
Okay.
Let's see. If I roll a 6, you have some in your hair.
Okay.
You're good. You're good. You got them all.
But now that we have more time to search, are there any more shotgun shells on this corpse on the ground?
Most of them are empty. We'll say that's all he had, the 5.
Okay.
Let's see. You start going. First of all, you notice you got a name for him. This is Stevie.
Yeah.
You can see Stevie.
Okay. On his
Well, actually,
vest
it specifically says Stevens, but you would assume that this is just Stevie. But yeah, you're able to kind of go through. You do find a small combat knife as well on his belt, and it looks like he had like breathing gear, like some kind of breath, but it's all busted. Like something to cover his face. It looks like it was sort of torn off in some way. He had a flak jacket, like some kind of like a vest, but it's been damaged pretty significantly. You can see that there were these pierce marks in it, where the tendril had reached out and injected itself through the vest and into the guy's chest. But he is also dead.
Yeah, looking at any of the wounds from the tendrils, do I see any movement in these wounds, like the wriggling of the fibers?
Go ahead and roll a medical test.
Ooh.
And I'll say just difficulty is 6 because it's just you're just looking.
Just so I don't waste the roll, is there anybody else who's trained in medical stuff? I can just relay like, hey, should we check this guy to see if there's like, are there eggs in this guy?
You're up.
I think Kev was the medical guy.
Yep.
That you
Okay. 'Cause I don't have anything in medical.
I have a point in medical.
Okay.
Was it medical and education? Because I have 3 in education, but nothing in medical.
I'll say it's medical and education. That's fine. Education, and then add your medical.
Okay. Can you do? There we go.
Okay. So you get
9.
up there. You look in. You don't see any signs of the little tendrils and things like that. But you do see what looks to be some kind of trauma on the insides. You can see like disintegration of like when you start peeking in places where there should be like the rib cage should be. You see like almost like some kind of acid or some sort of dissolvent.
Like it's dissolving.
It's really peculiar. Almost you're not sure if it was draining it or what.
Like a caterpillar.
Yeah, but no, there doesn't seem to be any signs of this stuff inside.
Search his vest for a flask.
Sure, you find a flask.
I'm gonna need this.
Oh God. I'm gonna take his company
But it's
patch, and
empty.
if he has dog tags.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. It's that same symbol. Zaya's rolled on it before. He didn't know the name of the Merc company, but you know that they're definitely a private security crew hired by Cambridge Wallace. You just don't necessarily know the specific company. You can't recognize the specific company logo. Okay. What do you want to do?
Well, whatever that was, expect to run into it again or more of them. But we got to make our way out.
We do.
Okay. Now there's several other offices in here. You can see that there was a terminal, like with a desk and everything, but the computer and stuff seems to have gotten trashed in the fight and the scuffle, either with you all or previously with Stevie. But you also see that there are signs of books and like photographs and things like that on the wall. But there are a handful of other offices as well. And again, remember, all these offices seem to match up. The names that are on them, little placards, match up to a list that you saw in one of the monitoring stations by the patient rooms that you woke up in. There was like a little list of like initials. And so you're seeing these initials match up. So you can tell that the people who are on that whiteboard with all the different initials are likely these doctors.
Do a quick sweep of each of the rooms.
Okay. So you can see that there are doctors' offices for Henry Grobel, Aaron Revel, Bet Moore, Daniel Wu, and Morgan Turner.
And there's nobody else hiding in any of them, or
Yeah, there's 3 of them that seem to be broken. Like the frames are broken as if somebody tried to break in. It looks as though 2 of them are locked. The locked ones are Dr. Grobel and Dr. Revel, Dr. Aaron Revel. The other doors themselves seem to be broken open. A good, just hard push will probably kick them open.
start with the unlocked ones.
Okay. So you go, we'll just do these one by one. You go into Dr. Moore. You can see that there's this fire extinguisher on the ground, unused. You can see that there's a huge mess here. From what you can tell, there's a lot of... it doesn't look like there's anything infectant in here. You don't see any ash, you don't see any substance of that, but it does look like someone was trying to like quickly pack things up. All the drawers were pulled open, and there's like some stuff that's been pulled out. Other stuff is still in there. Like a lot of basic things are in here, but there's a lot of like filing cabinets that are open, and there's files that are missing. Some that are left there, but the left ones, as you start flipping through them, aren't that big a deal. There's a terminal as well. When you go into Dr. Turner's office and you kind of push that in, the only thing of interest you find in here is a small little refrigerator, and there's a handful of food rations in there. So there's like different little snacks and stuff. So we'll say there's 5 food rations in there.
I'll throw those to everybody. I don't
Okay.
think we've eaten yet today.
And
Nice.
then
And I picked up the fire extinguisher, by the way, in case anybody else wants it. But
And then as you break through the door for Dr. Wu, Dr. Daniel Wu, you find that there is another body that's slumped in one of the desk chair, just staring at you on the other side. You can see that this wearing the same kind of dark merc gear as Stevie and Corporal Reese.
what's the nameplate say?
From a distance, it definitely looks like it says Pike.
Yeah. Does he seem like coherent?
You call out, and doesn't seem to be. Like you can definitely see that they're leaning back, and their head is kind of slumped down on their chest. You can't tell. You wait and you look. You're not sure if they're breathing. It's hard to tell. They have so much gear on top of them.
Ooh.
I'll hand Lucille the extra knife and cover me, and I'll go check on him.
Okay. I'll have a syringe with sedative in the other hand.
Okay. So you step up, and what are you trying to do? Just trying to go through their stuff, or are you trying to figure out?
We want to see if he's alive,
Okay.
but like, hopefully not infected.
Okay. You go up, you get really close, you lean in, you listen for breathing, kind of maybe hold a hand underneath their mouth. You don't feel any breath coming through them. Oh, thank you, Adam. Adam just threw us those up. Thank you, sir.
What
Hey, nice.
up?
Thanks, Adam.
Adam will be playing in a different sci-fi horror game on Monday when we continue our Alien game. This is pretty great.
Yeah.
Lots of industrial sci-fi on our channel. I realized all of a sudden, which is
That's our
great.
flavor
Yeah, I
of the
love this
week.
stuff.
I'll see if he has any AR ammo in him.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Assault rifle ammo.
Let's see. If I roll high or low.
Low.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. He does. 4, 5, 6. He doesn't. He does, in fact.
Nice.
We'll say, basically, he'll have like a spare cartridge, like one of those kind of.
Nice.
I don't know shit about guns. I'm sorry. And so enough that'll probably last you maybe an encounter or two. We'll say. Use it sparingly.
Anything else on his body?
So Lucille, you start rummaging around, and as you do, You watch and Zaya, as you're near there as well, you watch as the chest just pulls apart and just turns into these dark fibers.
Oh, I want to stab him with that thing.
Roll an agility. Roll an agility to see if you get it off first.
Oh dear.
Oh, my agility's the worst.
I'll say you can do...
Oh.
Okay, so agility versus there. This thing opens up. The whole chest opens up. You see the head begin to pull apart, unraveling like fibers. They look like human being and suddenly just start unraveling. And your hand just falls into the chest as the torso, and these fibers just wrap around it. And we are back into initiative.
Oh no.
I'm gonna roll for some damage. Take 2 points of damage. That's its max. As this thing yanks you in, and you can feel a little as your arm kind of gets jerked inside.
Where do I put this again?
Strength.
Sorry.
Comes out of strength.
Ooh, okay.
When you get to 0 strength, you're unconscious. When you get to -2, you're dying. If you go below -2, you dead.
Okay. I got 1 strength left, guys, just so you know.
So do I.
Okay, so you see, and Zaya, as you're right there as this is happening, this thing just pulls apart like it's some kind of accordion. You can see right into its chest. It's got this big pulsating mass. Her hand just falls inside. You can see it start touching that weird tumor on the inside, and then it wraps around like it's just changing color, like it's almost like this camouflage thing that's happening. And we're gonna go ahead and we'll start up. Let me go ahead and get us a new little encounter.
Do we use the same initiative? Or
Just roll it again. It'll start. It's pretty easy. There's not that many of us. And I think I roll 7. All right, perfect.
Roll a d6, Derek.
You guys can choose. I don't care.
You beat me again.
All of the 5s.
I really only care about the tiebreakers when it's against an NPC or an enemy. If you all can change. We'll say that was its turn, so we'll move to Zaya's. You're right there. What do you do?
Take my knife and cut at the tentacles in her arm, try to free her.
Okay.
Disregard if I hit her or not.
Really? If that's true,
Yeah,
roll at
reckless.
I want you to roll at like difficulty will be 6, but if you get a 1 on your roll, if you roll a natural 1 on your d6, we'll say
You cut my arm off.
You say you might have damaged Lucy. Just for funsies.
This is a strength.
Yeah. So strength security. You can add your security to this.
Okay. Nice.
Okay. And you rolled 3. You're good. Okay. So yeah, you just hack away, and her arm wrenches free, but she's still got some fibers wrapped around her arm, but she's no longer being pulled into the torso of this thing. All right. Go ahead and roll a d6 for damage, by the way, since it's technically an attack. Okay.
4.
We'll say 1 point of damage since you were mostly focusing on just like separating her. So, but we'll say 1 point. All right. So then it's going to be Amalka's turn. You did say you were searching through rooms, so I'll say you're all within movement range of this.
Okay.
So
at this point, Lucille's arm is not in this.
Yeah, she's been
body
wrenched
anymore.
free, but
No,
you
but
can
I got
see
stuff on me.
It's like a snake handler. There's just a bunch of snakes wrapped around her arm right now.
Yeah.
Who
somebody else
has
can
the
worry about that.
bleach? Who has the bleach?
I have the bottle of bleach.
Drink it.
Oust me.
I have a fire extinguisher, so I want to yell at everybody to get out of the way, and so I want to move up and see what happens if I douse this thing with the fire extinguisher.
So are you holding them
Foam.
until they all leave? Like you're moving up, and the minute they get out of the way, you'll start spraying, or are you spraying with them still there?
I'm gonna spray at it, so I want to get pretty close to it when I'm doing this.
Okay.
So that there would be like not really a risk of spraying it at them because it's got the little nozzle at the end.
Okay. Fair enough. So you start spraying in this big cloud of you don't have to roll anything for this. It's not an attack. You're just filling the room and the area up in this kind of white.
Well, I want to see if the chemical of it is going to damage it. So I'm seeing what happens.
Doesn't seem to damage it, but it seems to irritate it. You can see it start going. It's kind of beginning to jerk, sort of strangely a little bit. Even the stuff on the arm of Lucille's begins to tighten, can just clench in, and you can feel it's like a blood pressure wrap right around your arm. It's just pushing down on your arm. It starts to hurt a bit, Lucille.
Yeah, Lucille starts screaming.
TieZon.
With so many people crowded around this thing, I guess I'll just try and pour some bleach on the arm of Lucille to see if those things will fall off and die.
Yeah, sure, I like that. So you start pouring the bleach, and you can see it start to sizzle. Like it's definitely having a chemical effect, and some of them loosen up, Lucille, and they just scramble up your arm, or you see some of them drop to the ground. Some of them almost like they're swinging down from your arm and connecting to the desk, or swinging outward and reaching out for somebody else, but they're kind of rapidly unraveling, but as if they have a mind. It's not just random, it's not just gravity, they're like reaching out for other places. But yeah, that does seem to help Lucille. Lucille, your arm is almost fully removed from the tendril wraps. And it is your turn, Lucille.
I want to just continue.
Smoke is beginning to wrap around. Not smoke, but like fire extinguishers.
Yeah. I want to step away from the body, and as I'm walking away, try and slough the rest of it off.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So you just, with the dropping of the bleach, it's kind of loosened things. They've loosened their grip, and you're just like wiping them off and just dropping them, no problem.
And just stomping on them as I go.
Okay. Its turn. It's going to come around. You're going to see it begin to stand again. You think it's standing, but it's just sort of growing a bit. You realize that it didn't actually have any legs at any point. This is just some weird torso as it's pulling apart. As it's doing so, like its chest area, where it had sucked Lucille into the cavity, it starts to get above the cloud that's forming from the fire extinguisher. You can see as it pulls apart, there's this pulsating, like orange-yellow tumor on the inside. And you can all see as it kind of moves around and shifts and shapes. It's if almost like there's faces like trying to form within it, and it starts to emerge up and through the cavity. I would say Zayas is probably still there, so it's just going to try to kind of reach out and slam Zayas, since he is the closest. So we'll say, okay, that's good. Yes, this is very much inspired by the thing. Okay. That's going to be good. Let me roll damage against you. Take 2 points of damage. It had a damage cap of 2. So 2 points of damage as this thing just smashes into you and starts pushing you away almost, and then it wraps around like your throat. Okay. Zayas, it's your turn. You got this thing wrapped around your throat now.
Right, I'll have to cut away at it then.
Okay, just go ahead and roll an attack. Slashing away. Do you have no regard for your safety in this? Like you just stabbing in the part of your throat? Like, get out of there, I'll show you.
No, this time I have to be a bit careful.
Okay, go ahead. Normal 7 then.
Didn't work, I hit it.
I didn't see it. Roll strength, make sure your mod was added. There it goes.
It's only a 6.
Yeah, so you're unable, like you're stabbing and you're ripping some fibers away, but it's thick enough that you're not able to wrench it completely free. Okay, Amalka. You're spraying this thing. You can see it's having an effect. It's like...
Yeah, I'm going to keep at it.
Okay, yeah.
It didn't like it, so I'm
yeah,
going to keep
and the
doing
room
it.
is just getting more full and more full. And as it does so, Zayas, you can feel like it squeezes really, really hard right onto your atoms up to the point where you're almost going to faint a little bit. But then very quickly, its arm just pulls away. You feel a cut along your neck where some parts of it kind of almost like a whip just cut through the skin, but it pulls right back into it and just kind of contorts into this almost like a twig. TieZon. You can still see, by the way, that there's like these little remnants of like the corporal Reese, the corporal Pike. Like you can still see like the black marks where it had like its uniform, the kind of off-white skin color, like the sort of like tannish color of the skin, but all of it's kind of merging with the same sort of greenish yellow fibers that you've seen elsewhere.
Is there enough space around this creature to like kind of like walk up in execution style, just like point blank it with the shotgun?
I would say
just for like flavor.
I would say you can. Yeah, I would say you can certainly do it. You can just walk up. We'll say
yeah.
So with a shotgun has specific things. So since its damage changes depending on how far away.
Oh.
So it's so the closer you get, so it's a difficulty of 6, and you can do so. It's a difficulty of 6 you're trying since you're point blank, and then if you do it, it has a damage cap of 5.
Okay. Didn't make it.
Miss. As you go up,
no.
you shoot. It's like it recognizes the weapon all of a sudden, and it completely, like, the fibers pull apart right as you place the muzzle of the gun and pull the trigger, and the blast goes right through and it slams against the wall, knocking over some little trinkets and tchotchkes. Lucille.
I'm gonna take out the combat knife and no, I'm not, because I only have 1 strength left. I'm gonna continue moving further away from this thing.
Step out. You can step out into the conference room at this point, no problem. You're away from danger. It's gonna go. It's next up. Okay. The room now is almost completely filled with the kind of the gas that's been expunged now from the fire extinguisher, and you're all are gonna. It's getting harder to see as well. All of you are having trouble seeing, but you can still see in between the smoke, like a random flail of a tendril or a whip or a fiber, and you can hear things getting knocked over. TieZon, you have to stumble as something bumps past you, and you hear something fall over in the corner. You look around and you can see that there's another one of those HVAC vents, and it's kind of pulling into it as well. Zayas, it's your turn.
Alright, so TieZon's up in there. I'll join him.
Okay. So you move a little bit closer. TieZon, you bump into him, you look around, you don't actually see the creature from where you're standing. Again, this is all becoming much more difficult to see. It's like you're in a very thick fog all of a sudden, as there's just Amalka's just all over
Visibility has been reduced.
Can't see him, huh?
No, I'll say
Maybe
you can hear sounds from the corner.
Maybe I'll just bag out of the room instead.
Okay, that's fine. So you get out, kind of cough a little bit, and you reach Lucille out in the conference room. Amalka, what do you want to do? You see Zayas and Lucille just bump past you as they run out into the room.
Yeah, I feel like I've done a decent amount to anger and possibly weaken it, so I'm going to do the same.
Okay. TieZon. You're the last one in the room.
Yeah, I'll just back out of the room since visibility's gonna be too poor. Even if it's in the vent, I won't be able to hit it.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and end that comment then. You all step out into the conference room. Do you wait for the fog to disperse? Do you leave? What do you want to do?
I think
Were we
we've
able to see enough to know that it went up into the HVAC?
I would say TieZon has enough to can piece that together pretty easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ashley.
No, that's fine. It's basically we were looking for them to see if they were alive, but they're not. So now I think our next modus operandi is to make sure we get to level 0 and try and get to the shuttles. Just speed run it.
I want to check the other 2 rooms real quick. Just because, we found the fire extinguisher just to see if there's anything helpful.
Yeah, and I'll go with her just to see if there are any spare shotgun shells anywhere, because I only have 2 left.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the last 2 are locked, but one of them you're able to easily open because you have the key, the ID chip for Henry Grobel. So you open that door, and this entire office actually seems intact. Like, you don't see signs of any kind of disruption. Like, nothing's been knocked over. It looks clean, clear. There's no one in here hiding in a chair or anything like that. Laid out very similarly. You see pictures of children, smiling, happy people. You see an intact terminal, like a desktop computer, basically. You can see. Let's see. Yeah, that's basically it. You don't see anything. There's a coat on a rack, and there is there's nothing
Anything in the
your
coat pockets?
Yeah.
You start going through it, like pens and stuff like that, dry erase markers. You see in the corner there's like a little putting setup where like on one side of the room there's like a putter, and on the other side there's like some makeshift cup, and there's a couple golf balls on the ground.
I'll pocket the golf balls. Could be
Okay.
useful to throw at something.
I mean, the golf club would probably be more useful as a meeting
A
instrument.
clubbing weapon.
Yeah. So if you want to grab that. But yeah, that's all that's in here.
Is there any way we could like try and get into the computer terminal to see if we could reach anyone?
You have his ID chip, so yeah, you're able to. You get down there, you scan it, opens up, and you can see like in green futuristic digital font. It says, "Welcome, Dr. Grobel." You can see like there's a directory of the stuff that he has access to here and there. Since you have full access, yeah, you're able to move around pretty easily in this thing. It's just a question of how long do you want? What are you looking for, and how long do you want to spend to look for it?
I just want to like see what were the last things that he accessed real quick, and then see if maybe there's any way we could contact for help or see where exactly we are in like the solar system.
There's no access to where you are in the solar system, but there are where you're at in the station. You are on level 3. You get a full layout of the actual facility that you're in. I'll even go ahead and show you the little map that I'm using if you want to take a look at it. But a research facility map is now open, and you can kind of see the 4 different levels. Information about, like, there's a shuttle that connects various placements. So there's like the facility, a recreation center, some apartments, and some kind of landing station. You are on level 3. You're in the offices. You came from Green Wing. You've looked into Blue Wing. You've looked into the labs. You know that there's 3 other levels. In terms of what he last opened, it looks like he was going through some stress test files of certain patients. Again, it has that same kind of serial number as opposed to names, and it's just kind of going through stress tests, like how like stamina, duration, speed, all that kind of stuff. There's some notes from a nurse about some of these, and the numbers aren't really adding up. They don't really make sense when you think about how much you can run and how long time. Like this is like there's like increased stamina, increased fortitude. There's a lot of notes made by both the nurse and like, "This is incredible, doctor," and stuff like that. They seem to the most recent batch seem to have not only cleared their systems but have increased certain physiological benefits. It seems many of them have grown sturdier, and some have been able to withstand all of the current parameters that we have for our stress tests. So like there's this long note that's just kind of going over that in detail.
Amalka's gonna say, "Hey Lucille, can you send an email to somebody?"
I don't
Probably.
think email exists, actually.
What?
I'm just asking.
It's a little, yeah, I think it's anachronistic because I think this is like alien era, right? I don't think email, but a message, like a written message, is fine. Yeah, you can to other people on station, sure. Yeah.
I will try and see if is there like department emails. Like,
Yeah, there's, if you go into his messages, there's old messages, sure, but there's messages from a variety.
I want to
of
look
people.
for something that's like Yorktown or like level 0.
No reference to the Yorktown in here. There's reference to level 1 or level 0 seems to be like a shuttle loading area that it connects to level 1. Level 1 has admin, security, cafeteria, that kind of stuff, and then there's like a small mall that walks towards the actual shuttle, and that's kind of considered level 1. and that's how people leave.
I'm gonna shoot out just like to everyone, just like a general.
Okay.
If you're still
If
alive,
you don't forward this to 3 people in 3 days, you will die.
you will die. No, like if you're alive, we're currently heading towards the shuttle.
Okay.
Try and make your way there.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Oh, I just lost my
SOS.
forge. My forge just crashed on me.
Uh
All right.
oh.
No, it's back up now. That was weird. Okay. All right, no problem. This is all taking a few minutes. There was, if somebody else wants to, there's another locked door for Aaron Revel, but you don't have that ID chip, so it's just locked.
Do I need a
Just
light token for the research facility tab?
Say that again.
It says I don't own any vision tokens.
Hang on, let me change a little setting for you all then.
Me too.
Let's see.
All right, you should be able to see it now.
Awesome. Thank you.
So this second room that was locked, is there any like sign or placard on it or anything to note what kind of room this is?
It's a doctor's office. Dr. Aaron Revel.
Oh, okay. Now, is this just like a standard, like it's just got a handle lock, or is there a deadbolt, or is this like a mag lock?
It looks like you're supposed to scan something. Like you're supposed to like scan a chip, like your hand or a badge or something like that.
I guess what I'm trying to gauge with my question is there a point in the door that I could shoot with the shotgun to blow a hole and just push it open? Like if you shot a
Absolutely.
standard door.
Yeah. Roll. Yeah, I'll say just roll roll and attack. Difficulty is 6 just to hit it. And let's just make sure that you're...
I look at a Malka, and I'm like, do you by any chance know how to use this better than me? I'm like, if you want to get in this room really bad, we can just shoot the lock or shoot the part of the door that's keeping us out and go in. I'm gonna let you borrow the shotgun since my agility. What I'm trying to say is I'm not very agile.
And as he tries to hand it to you, it just and it fires and it shoots both of you. You're both dead. Meta gamers. Whoever's rolling it, roll it. Go ahead.
Okay.
All I'm doing with the difficulty to see if it takes you more than one shot. That's all.
I only have. This is a risk roll. I'm like trying to gain a shotgun shell by using one.
Yeah.
One shot's fine. That's all I was doing,
Okay.
just to see if it's going to take you 2 shots to do it or 1 shot. Yeah,
7.
You shoot into it and it blow up the little area where like there's the handle. Kick it open. Again, similar to Grovel's office, it seems to be relatively intact. You see some trash, like crumpled notes and stuff on the ground, and in a metal waste bin. You start going, like there's a terminal, but doesn't seem to want to let you in. So you shoot it, and it still doesn't let you in. There is a bottle of booze and a pack of cigarettes in here, though.
I hide the bottle of booze from Zaya's.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't actually do
I
that.
hear the
So I
sound
do.
of swishing up the hole.
Okay.
No shotgun related items.
No,
hidden
unfortunately, there are no
painting.
shotgun related.
Damn! I rolled the risk dice and it didn't work out. It's okay. I still got 1 shot left.
Okay. All right.
I'll snag. I'm just collecting whatever's around.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So you said there was cigarettes and alcohol, and that's basically it.
Yeah, that's really all. It's
Okay.
kind of semi-useful in here. All right. So at
Right,
this
if
point,
we've cleared the area, then
yeah.
we want to.
At this point, you have thoroughly gone through these offices.
All right. To the elevator.
Okay. You head over to the elevator. You can see Ella is just kind of like was hiding down beneath like the conference table, just waiting for it all to be over. But as you walk towards the elevator, you use one of the badges. You can see it's got that same kind of thing. There's some kind of error message that pops up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not opening. Doesn't seem to be moving. Looks like it's kind of on lockdown. You can see that there's still the doors. You can try to pry them open if you have anything that might be useful for that.
Did we have a crowbar, or is that something else?
I have no idea. If
I
it's
don't
in
know.
your
I don't
inventory, you got it. If
I thought at some
I don't
point we
have
had
a
a
crowbar.
broom. I think that's like we had a broom at one
Yeah,
point.
Miss Chuffwick's broom.
I know you have a flashlight.
Wrong game.
Yeah.
You guys just mischief wick.
Everyone misses Miss Chuffwick.
He's fun.
I
They're
don't s-
potential stairs then.
I don't see. You do not see stairs.
Is there like a maintenance shaft?
Yeah. So you go around, kind of looking for stairs. There's no stairs, but you do see behind the elevator. There's like these maintenance panels. You start to remove them, and you can see that there is an elevator, and not an elevator. Excuse me. There's a ladder back here, and a series of like, it looks like the various mechanisms of the elevator. So this is probably like maintenance access if something's wrong with the elevator, but also it looks like you can go up and down with this thing on the ladder.
See if I can tinker with the maintenance to get the elevator working.
Okay. Roll an engineering test. So this is
Can
gonna
I
be
assist?
intelligence, engineering.
Yeah, nay.
Go ahead and take a +1. That's fine. So 2 work at. There's not a whole lot of room in here, so it's like only really one person at a time. But go ahead, Zayas.
I can't roll for some reason.
I don't know. Maybe did you try refreshing?
Let me try.
Okay, I'll roll it for you while you do it.
I have a +6.
Engineering. Okay, so you got a +3, so you're rolling your education +3. So you roll a 9. Yeah, between the two of you, you're able to mess with it a little bit, and you hear the elevator just come loose, and it just begins to slowly drop. Like it's gravity. It's like you release some kind of like security clamps, and this thing is just, and it goes past you, and then you hear a kind of a muted crash below you as it lands.
Uh-oh.
Nice. That cleared the way, right?
You think?
Always helpful, everybody. Right?
For funsies, I'm gonna hit the call button to see if anything happens.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'm looking at the map to see, like, if there's anywhere that we want to go.
Yeah, I would say you would have a decent look at the map now.
I think we want to go up, right?
Yeah, you're at level 3, you know that.
Yeah.
You know that. Level 1 connects to the shuttle terminal, which is like level 0, so to speak. That's how you get out.
Yeah, I'll have to climb the shaft
Okay.
using the ladder.
Alright. So, is that the case?
Yeah.
Are you going to leave all the patients here that you didn't help, including Kev?
I mean, I kind
We
of.
unplugged them, and then it was going to be up to them if they woke up or not.
Okay.
Well, if we go back, I at least want to hit the armory first. Because the armory's on level 1. Oh, we'll see. Let's go get weapons.
Okay, so where are you going?
I feel like my instinct is to move with not the entire crew of ill people.
So you just want to leave everyone behind, including Kev, including TieZon's crew, who we haven't even looked for. Got it. So where are you going? What level do you want to go to?
We don't know that we can't come back.
What level do you want to go to?
I heard a vote for the armory, and that's
Lucille wants to go to level 1.
Okay. All right. So you start climbing up the ladder a bit, and you can see as you do every so often there's like a access panel that could be removed, and you can literally access the interior of the elevator shaft. And also every so often you see these dents in the elevator, the wall that kind of sticking out. You can see little like the metal is buckling in some places, or you can see tears or rips. A couple of the rungs of the ladder seem to have taken some kind of damage, as if there was some kind of trauma on the interior of the elevator shaft that's been pushed outward, and the ladder that you're on seems to be affected by it. But you
Is
climb.
that near level 2?
It's along the way here and there. But you climb, and you said you're specifically going to level 1. So you get up, and someone's got to kind of turn around, unhook a little thing, little hinge, and you kind of push open, and then almost like a little door, the panel swings open, and you hear absolutely nothing. It is as quiet as can be. And as you open, you are opening with a very clear look at a set of double doors that have kind of windows in them, these like little circular windows that look inside. One of those doors is hanging off its hinge, its top hinge, but its bottom hinge is intact. The upper left corner of the right door is like leaning against the wall, so it's almost like it's covering up its partner. There's like this waft of like this moldy, mildewy smell, that you can hear. You can also see like there's a variety of like these terminals, like these monitors on the wall here and there, some of which have been destroyed, fallen down to the ground. Some of them are still up, they're just not displaying anything. You peek off to the left, you can see that just like on level 3, this is sort of like a circular hallway that runs around the elevator and connects to other places. But you would know just from looking straight ahead when you get out of this little ladder shaft, that's the cafeteria you're looking at. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Toward the security office, because the armory was behind the security office.
Okay. So you swing around southward a bit, and you see on the ground in front of you, you see a pair of legs just laying there. And you can see that there are these cords and tubes that are sticking out of the bottom. You can tell that this is like the bottom half of an android. You don't see any signs of the top half. You come around and you can see that there's a kind of countertop, and then behind that countertop there is a door. Like there's almost like this is an area where someone's supposed to be. On the other side of that countertop, you can see laying on the ground is this contour of a person just draped in, it's just pure yellow ash. And you can see that there's a handful of these really small monitors, like 8 to 9 inch old school kind of tube televisions, all of completely out. You see no lights on. There's a flickering red emergency light in the area. Your flashlights are kind of helping you look here and there, but every now and then the flickering red security light helps. You can see also that there's a variety of like yellow tape here and there. Like these thick yellow tape, some of them have been torn. You pick one up and it says like it's got like quarantine written across it.
I hop behind the counter and look at the group and say, "What do you need from the armory?"
Is it open, or do we need to get an ID chip that's going to work to open that?
What
What's that?
supplies do you need?
I need ammo.
Yeah,
Does the chip open the door to the armory,
Oh,
or the
no.
door behind the counter?
the grobble chip that you have, absolutely not.
How about from the body on the ground?
You go through the body on the ground and there's nothing here. There's nothing. It's all been dissolved completely.
And the android, it was only the like legs of the android?
Yeah, if the emergency light goes off, Arborlin, that's when you know you're in trouble. As long as the emergency lights are still working. What was your question? Sorry.
And the android was just like the legs part of the android, so there's
Yeah,
no...
it's definitely the legs part. When you look at the door for the security room, it looks different than the doors that you've seen so far. You've seen two different kinds of doors, basically. You've seen almost like submarine-style doors, but you've also just seen normal, like kind of metal swing open doors. No big deal. It's the same thing like you'd be shot when you were in the offices. This one is like some kind of reinforced security door. When you shine the flashlight over towards it, you can see that there's like this puddle of like almost like dried out ice cream on the ground. This yellowy white mixture. And when you look at it, like this thing's like hardened. Just unclear how to get past this.
Actually, question.
Yeah.
Going back to the body, so did we sift through the ash to see if there was an ID chip?
Yeah, you went through the body of this person behind this desk.
Okay, I just want to make sure we
area.
went through all of it.
Oh yeah.
Lucille's gonna kind of like swear and then start heading towards the admin office.
Okay. By yourself?
No, I don't want to go by myself. She's gonna be like, so maybe they got a master key or something in the admin office.
All right, I'll come with.
Okay. You go around to the admin office, and as you do, you notice along the wall, there's about 100 bullet holes along the wall, all kind of curving, almost like a roller coaster, as if someone was just mowing down this wall.
Oh, it doesn't spell out any cryptic words.
It doesn't smell. It's like the key is on level 4. No, something like that. The door itself to the admin room seems to have been ripped off. It's another one of those normal metal door, nothing special, but it's been ripped completely out of its socket and just fallen to the ground. There's like this ashy residue on top of it. Oh, thanks, Friendon. Friendon just gifted Arvelin a sub.
Hey, Brendan.
Nice. Hi, Brendan. I kind of want to, if Zayas has like a flashlight, to quietly and like look into the room, see if there's any bodies.
Yeah, I'll turn the corner.
Okay. Zayas, Seal, you're both looking inside. So it looks like there's a fairly nice, or at least there was a fairly nice reception area. There's some kind of carpet, this sort of low, like a high traffic carpet. It's a very low fibers. There's a handful of these. You're not sure if they're real plants and stuff, but they've kind of been knocked over. There's more bullet holes in the wall as you slowly kind of track it around, and you can see that those bullet holes meet this large aquarium that's been shot and broken, and on the ground in front of you there's all these dead fish and these various decorations and like little sandcastles and stuff that you might see. You also see that there's a fairly large round desk. There's this big CW logo for Cambridge Wallish that's above that desk and on the wall, and then there's doors on either side of that logo that seem to head to various admin offices.
Sorry,
Pick the door that the ammo bullets don't lead towards.
Okay, but yeah, you see the signs of there was gunfire in here at some point for sure. Okay, so you continue to move. You just pick a door. We'll say the door on the left. You can get another one of those generic metal doors. You open it up. You can see that there's a fairly large administrator's office here. Sign on the wall. Looks like you kind of try to read it, like the bullet holes have kind of broken the sign in half, and half of it has fallen to the ground. But you see Brown, so you know that this person is named Brown. You see a very beautiful desk that has taken some sort of shots in some way, and you can see like there's a large desk behind it, but it doesn't have like books on it. It has all sorts of these different kind of fancy little decorations. Like someone spent a really long time like decorating this area. There's a beautiful leather couch on one side, and there looks to be a small little personal refrigerator as well that's been opened, and like there's a few things still inside, but it's been opened.
I want to like creep on the desk.
Okay, go over to the desk. There's a shot up computer terminal. There's a couple drawers. You start going through them. You find a lot of basic stuff that you would expect to see, like little writing utensils, writing equipment. You can see that there's operational manuals, handbooks. There's a couple pamphlets here. Like there's this whole stack of like little pamphlets in here. There's like an interview schedule, as you start piecing things together. It looks like they were doing some job interviews of some kind. But you look at these pamphlets and it's describing the facility, and it's like going through the various amenities this place has, like recreational facilities. It's talking about apartments. There's a golf course. There's a golf course on the roof of some kind of recreational facility. Like this tiny 3-hole golf course and driving range. Like there's an Olympic style size pool, and it's all like these look to be like pamphlets for circulation, like something to give somebody who might, there's not that many of them, so you wonder if maybe like this is just sort of the sample that they're giving out somewhere else. But yeah.
Is the price reasonable?
There's no price.
Oh, this sounds good, too good to be true now.
Just
Just
your body.
a small sample of your time.
Yeah, exactly. Small sample of time. And, you know, your, I don't know, your soul, a little bit of your soul. Okay.
Yeah. Your
but
health.
Yeah, you go through this room. Like, there's nothing in here that strikes you as particularly helpful.
The terminal doesn't give like extra access on this floor.
It's
sorry?
shot up.
Sorry, say that
Oh, you
again?
said it shot up.
Yeah, it's pretty shot up all over the place.
Oh, okay.
And there are no key cards or data chips or anything that we saw?
No.
All right, time to try the other room, it sounds like.
Yeah, you go into this other room. It's fairly similar, much smaller office, not as attractive, not as like robust. There's not like a big couch in it and everything, but still fairly nice. You can see that like underneath the desk, you find a body that and when you take a look at it, they're kind of sprawled out, and there's a gun on the ground. It's a couple feet away. You can tell there's a large gunshot wound to the head. It's probably self-inflicted. You can tell that as you kind of push through, it looks like the door was barricaded, but it was kind of ripped open at some point. You can see the signs of something has torn up the ground a bit, like these little ashy footprints. There's that kind of yellow discoloration. And yeah, there's just a kind of a person, woman. Can't kind of peg exactly an age, but you know, business suit on.
Oof.
Looks like this one went out on their own terms.
Yeah, but we don't know if they can just reanimate a body or if it needs to be living.
That's a good point. I have one shotgun shell left. I can walk up to it and give it a little nudge, and if it twitches, I'll just,
Yeah.
you know,
You walk
take
up
care of
to
business.
it, you nudge it, doesn't do anything.
Jeff's all, I have them terrified of every single body.
I look back to the group, hold the shotgun, and I'm like, it's cool, guys. It's all
It's
good.
good.
Can we sift through it to see if it's inside, if like the key card's inside?
Yeah, I guess I'll start.
That's a
searching the
fair
desk
point,
in the
actually.
room, yeah.
Aren't they usually in the wrist?
About the, yeah.
Yeah, I got a knife. I'll dig in there.
You start digging in and cutting through this person's wrist, and you do in fact find there's a small little ID chip embedded beneath the person's wrist. I shouldn't have said anything. Why did I say that?
Yeah.
No, I was
Hey.
planning on it.
No,
Don't
I've
do
been thinking
that.
the whole time that we needed to go back up and do that with
Just
one of
start
the
cutting people
corporals
up.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very on brand
we
for me,
we
Jeff.
say a few words of, you know, like condolences to this person. Rest in peace. Thank you for the data.
And this is how you're still helpful to us.
Lucille does, and
Thanks.
she's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Just
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you have this. You have a chip of somebody.
While we're
Back to the
butchering this
armory door.
corpse, was there anything else in the room, like in the desk or anything of interest?
No. You do see a tennis racket in the corner. Looks like a gym bag of some kind.
do I see, is there like a cool thing of like a keychain? Like, is this a secretary where she's got just like
No, this is a much.
Well,
this,
bam.
this is a pretty nice office. It's just not as you'd imagine. This is maybe like
It's
a,
the vice
like
president,
a
not
VP.
the president.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there is a reception desk, like a secretary or administrative assistant
Yeah.
desk right out front.
So did the pamphlet tell us where we are? Like, did it give us a better idea of like what planet we're on or anything like that?
It does not.
oh, it's all real vague, Jeff. I hate it.
Sorry.
Can I go check out the reception area?
Okay, you go check out the reception area, and yeah, there's a bunch of reception stuff. No, you actually find that there is a radio, like a hand radio here.
Ooh,
Yeah.
is it working?
You pick it up, you start messing around with it and switching channels. You get some static and stuff here and there. What do you want to do? What do you say into it?
What's cool space emergency stuff I can say?
Anybody there, we're dying.
Houston, we
Major
have a
Tom to
problem.
ground control. Like, I just start singing.
Has anybody enjoyed it?
No, we need to be quiet, like for real. Like, so I'll just like.
You just switch. You say basic. Yeah, sing Ashley. Jen wants you to sing.
No.
Hello,
I'm tone deaf. It's cool.
is Is it me you're looking for? That's something like that. But yeah, it's just you keep saying stuff and it's just static. You change every single channel. Static. Bits for there we go.
No, remember it's bits to talk backwards. That's my thing.
Amalka, you said you're going to go check out to see whether or not this little key card thing affects security. It does not seem to do so, unfortunately.
Okay, then I will say to everybody, I wonder if we need to grab the ID chip from one of the
from like Stevie or Pike or...
Yeah, from Stevie. Well, Pike isn't Pike anymore, but maybe
that's true.
from Stevie.
He did kind of wander away.
Ashley Frandon gave us 70 bits. You have to give him 70% effort and sing Ground Control to Major Tom.
70%.
Do you know the words? Do you know the words of that song?
I can Google it. I mean, I know, like...
Just like I do, say Ground Control to Major Tom. That's it. Ground Control.
You hit it. Good job.
No. He doesn't want me to.
I'm gonna do it randomly. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna surprise it on you. I'm gonna whip out my comms.
Okay. All right. Zayas, what are you doing? What you up to? Ella's just following you around.
It doesn't look like we can get to the armory, so the best you can do with that ID chip is probably get free lunch in the cafeteria.
Okay.
It was administrators.
Damn administrators.
So let's head over those doors we saw earlier.
Okay.
You want to go anything in there?
Into the cafeteria?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, as you start going around the circle, on the north side of the elevator, there is a long hall that seems to, with kind of lighted emergency lights, almost like theater seating, kind of directing off into the darkness. But you can see that there's a mess load of like barricades that have been broken and dropped down here and there. There's quarantine signs, stuff like that as well. According to the map that you all found, you know that this is the direction to like the shuttle. But if you want to check out the cafeteria, that's cool too. So you go around, check out the cafeteria. There's 100 of these creatures inside it, and you all die. No, you open it up. It's just it's a very nice looking cafeteria. Like it's not like a high school cafeteria. You're looking at a series of very nice circular tables, but a lot of them have been rearranged, kind of creating these little makeshift barricades. There's like big cushy seats and stuff. They're very corporate. No windows again. You haven't seen like windows or anything anywhere. But off to your left, there's a kitchen. There's like a salad bar right in front of the kitchen. And there's like swing doors that seem to go in. Looks like there's signs of a scuffle. You start flashing the flashlight around. You can see bullet holes. You can see signs of ashy residue all over the place.
Continue into the kitchen.
Okay. You go into the kitchen. You see, various appliances, deep fryer, walk-in freezer, walk-in cooler. You can grab yourself a knife if you needed a knife. There's some utensils and stuff in here. You see that, like, definitely again, sort of signs of scuffle. You can see that there's a lot of like this strange kind of yellowish sludge coming down from some of the vents here and there and here.
Okay, if there's nothing left behind, we'll just start following emergency out.
Okay. All right.
Sort of morbid, but I was hoping to find like a military body somewhere around so that we could have a ID chip that would be more likely to open the armory.
You know where one is.
I'm going to ask the group, actually, do we think it's worthwhile to go back up or down the elevator shaft to level 3 and grab that?
I've been wondering that as well, because I only have one shot left on my shotgun, and then I could just use it to beat the hell out of things, but I have 1 strength naturally, so
yeah, me too.
I mean, we got a golf club.
If you want to grab a knife, there is a kitchen nearby, and you did grab a combat knife.
I feel like
that.
a knife has the same damage stats as being beaten with a shotgun. It's like a blunt weapon.
So there were 2 bodies down there, by the way, Malka. There was Corporal Race, and then there was Stevie.
Yeah.
So, it was Pike's body that got all.
I'm upset
weird.
that we didn't think about grabbing Corporal Reese's wrist. I took her patches.
Sorry.
All
Let's
right,
just
TieZon, you
retcon
wanna-
it. Just kidding. Let's not.
TieZon, you want to make a quick run
That's not fun for you.
and grab
Yeah,
that?
I'm gonna say
yeah,
you
I'll
have
go
to.
with you if you want to make a quick run.
Okay.
You're like, let's get them all back into a small vent shaft.
Okay. So you guys are going back down to rescue The
At least
people you
Amolka
left
and I
there?
are.
No,
No.
No, you're going back.
No.
Back down.
they're
There's
they're contaminated.
okay.
We're maybe mostly probably contaminated.
So as you start to go down, Ella starts like flipping out, like, "What the hell's wrong with you? Why are you going down again? Are you insane? We just get out of here. We can just go. We can go."
The problem is if those things come back while we're trying to go, I don't really have many shots left. And unless you want to put your hands around their throat.
You put shots into them and they just ran away, and
Yeah, because it clearly hurts them.
but you didn't kill them. You put a shotgun shell into them and they lived.
Yes, but if they come back and I miss the first shot, I won't have a second one, and then they'll just keep coming.
But we know they're down there.
I just start climbing down the hatch and say, "You don't have time for this."
Okay. So you
Uh-oh.
start climbing down.
Lucille's kind of losing her shit. I hope you guys realize she's so not cool with this.
All right, so TieZon's going down. Who else is going down?
Amolka.
Okay. Lucille, Zayas, you want to go down?
Yeah, I'll have to come too.
I'm not going by myself then,
Okay.
but I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay, but I'm going.
Okay.
It's just
So-
a quick ammo resupply, standard game stuff.
Okay. So you start climbing
We're gonna die.
all the way back down.
Ella, was Jeff saying, "Are you freaking sure this is something you want to do?"
I mean, sort of. Okay. So you start climbing back down, and who's stepping out first?
I will, since I was the first to go down the
All
ladder.
right, TieZon, you step out and you hear, and you kind of look around that little circular area to your left, and you can see that there is this large creature that you, possibly the one you fought before, possibly the different one, who knows, and it's just got its tendrils down like on the body of Corporal Reese, and it's just, and you can also hear to your right, you hear,
I could just poke my head back in the shaft and say, and just like whisper, shout, like, "Yeah, they're kind of devouring the corpses." Just and then I just say, like, "We might as well go back up. We're
Pump,
not going to
pump,
get
pump
anything."
it up. Let's go.
All of that was
So-
communicated non-verbally. All of that was just like.
TieZon, can you roll an agility test
Oh,
first
no.
to see if you can see what it's like when you
Oh.
step down, see if you make any noise to attract attention to yourself.
Yeah, I roll a 4.
Yeah. So as you go to turn around, the little panel that the kind of that you have to kick open to get off the ladder, no one holds it, and it just slams against, just opens up and slams against the back of the wall, and all of a sudden you hear as it kind of turns around, and you hear as these other little tiny like dog-shaped things just start pouring towards you, and so all of you can go ahead and roll initiative.
Hold on, I gotta clip that.
I know that noise was weird. I don't know what just happened. I'm not gonna be able to reproduce it too. I hate when that. Oh boy.
Oh.
We clip it. We can soundbite these things, and we'll get you like a mixer board.
I asked for one for Christmas.
Hey, we
it
found
told
you
me-
cool pillows.
I know those pillows are
Chill
awesome.
out.
It was awesome.
And,
I have the shiny
birthdays are
pillows
coming.
now. This is great. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah, initiative. So actually, I gotta put you all in initiative first. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That was just like, those rolls don't count. Okay, these rolls count. Go ahead and roll.
Oh.
Some of
I
you,
did
I'm
better.
sure, will do better. Some of you, I'm sure, will do worse.
Did do better.
But none of
the
you
Infectant
will do
did.
as well as the Infectant.
I did.
Did you?
Somebody did.
I don't see anybody doing a 9.
I did.
Amolka did.
What's not showing up for you? All right. Lucille, would you roll?
4.
All right. Malka, roll a d6 to see if you go before.
1. I do not go before.
It was a close race. It was a close race. But no, this so the one that you kind of sneak around, kind of peek, and you see it and you try to get back. As the thing slams, it slams like right as you're looking, and it kind of turns to look at you, and then it's just going to rapidly shoot out a tendril in your direction. Let's see if it can grab you. Go ahead and go. So this is going to be agility. That's an 11. As it reaches out, it's going to do...
I mean, I have 1 strength, so I'm definitely dead.
It actually only does 1 damage. The ranged thing only does 1 damage. I don't know why I rolled it.
I mean, like, I'm unconscious no matter what.
1 damage, and we'll say, Amalka, you're next on the initiative, so we'll say you're the next one who went down, too. You see TieZon as he's looking, he goes to turn around, and he's just like... And all of a sudden, the fibers come from either side of his face and just grab him and start to pull him backwards towards this creature. And Amalka, it's your turn.
I think my action is going to have to be to try to pull him. Do a little tug of war.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. It's going to be a contested strength, so you can add your agility, but it will get to contest with this. So go ahead.
Okay, so I'm rolling agility?
No, this is strength. This is pure strength. You're trying to grab and pull.
And I can't add?
I'll say it's strength, but you can add your security if you have security.
Security, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said agility, and I was like, wait, what?
No.
I only have 1 strength.
It pulls TieZon out of your grip. You grab him as quickly as you can. You just grab him by the arm, and the arm just slips out of your hands, and he's being dragged back. All right. So then next up, TieZon, you have been your head's pulled. You're getting pulled back. You kind of lost consciousness as the hit itself was enough to kind of like, and you don't know what's happening. Zayas,
No.
what would you want to do?
Well, we hardly knew him.
Standard operating procedure is just to leave people. So.
Oh god.
What would you like to do? Just
We're
put
all
him
in
out
the
of his
shaft.
misery. Just put him out.
I still
I mean,
have a
this is-
shot left in my shotgun. There's 1 shot left.
We'll say the shotgun fell on the ground too. We'll say that makes sense.
Never mind, I don't have a shot left.
Well, you're unconscious and can't use it. So if the shotgun falls on the ground, somebody else can pick it up and throw in a bow.
No, I was just making a joke if I have 1 shot left for me so that you guys
The
can just
shotgun
escape.
falls to the ground, goes off, shoots him right in the face. All right, Kai, Zayas.
So we're all in the shaft still, or are we in?
Oh, you can get off. Well, you're in that tiny little behind the elevator shaft. So you're
Okay.
the next down. So what would you want to do?
I will hop down and grab the shotgun.
Okay, so
See if I can blow these
okay.
tentacles.
So since you're doing this all at once, I'm going to say, and you're trying to shoot the tendrils without getting TieZon, I'm going to increase the difficulty. It's going to be an 8 that you're going to need to hit to not hurt TieZon in the process. And because you're using a shotgun, so it's kind of dangerous. So
Right.
So it's agility. If you have security, you can roll it. You can roll security on top of that. Yeah, you shoot, you fire.
Ooh.
The tendrils rip apart. You hear. Then he falls to the ground. Okay. In a moment of slumbering, I absentmindedly shoot this fellow with my final shell. Also, I am unconscious. Well said. Let's see. Who is next? Lucille. You hear the shotgun go off. And as the shotgun goes off, you also hear to your right, you hear these higher pitch sounds.
I'm gonna reach into Melissa's bag or whatever that she has and grab the golf balls that she had
Who's
and just start.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Amalka.
Where are you, Amalka? There's
Okay.
so many names.
Yes.
And just start throwing them down the hallways and making them bounce all crazy
I knew
to
they
try
would
and
come in
like
handy.
distract things.
Just try to distract things? Okay.
Yeah.
You know they're little dog-sized creatures, so maybe they're just gonna go after them.
Yeah.
Very
I
nice.
like
just,
it.
Very nice.
just
Yeah,
launch
I like
it.
I like it. Fair enough. So now we hear the constant cacophony of golf bars bouncing off
Yeah,
of
and like
concrete
I
and metal walls.
launched
and floors.
them. Just boom.
Yeah, it's like so if the shotgun wasn't loud enough, here we go. All right, so it's gonna come around to the top of the round. This thing is gonna go. We'll say, let me roll. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna say all of the little creatures that were about to come around are now like, You can see them as you peek around to the right, Amalka, and anybody else who has a view of like the right curve of the hallway, that there's like these random tendrils that are just shooting out of nowhere and grabbing golf balls like in all sorts of different directions. So I won't bring them into the combat this round. However, the big one is still in the combat, and I think what it's going to do, having had its tendril just ripped in half, I think it's going to charge at the source of the firing of the shotgun, which is Zaya's, and it will attempt to just sort of... I know what it's going to do. So it's going to run up. You can see its chest begin to open. There's this big, like, kind of bulbous orange tumorous center, and you can see the faces trying to shift. For a fraction, Zayas, you see the face of Lucille begin to form. And then you feel something at the back of your head as it's trying to pull you inside. Right. So this is going to be...
You ate some of my skin?
I don't know what it did.
Jeffrey.
That's a fail, actually. And you manage to slip underneath it as it tries to pull you in. But you are still free. Amalka, your turn. You've got... TieZon laying on the ground. You've got Zaya's face to chest with this creature that has opened it wide and is trying to pull him inside.
I am going to do my little fire extinguisher thing again, like in the opening. So I basically want to like kind of shove the end of the fire extinguisher nozzle like in the opening and let it go.
So roll a d6.
The traitor among us.
High or low? Do you want high or low, Melissa?
Low.
Okay, so if it's a 4, 5, or 6, you exhausted the fire extinguisher of its contents in the last round.
Okay.
Go ahead. Roll a d6.
3.
Okay, so there's a little bit left. So you're going to shove the thing right into the center and just...
Yep.
That's fine.
Wow, that's open.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll just let that happen. I don't think there's any reason to really aim. It's wide open. It's fine. And it's sort of focusing on Zaya's, and that also means that the area is beginning to get clouded with the clouds of the fire extinguisher. Okay. Next up, it's going to be TieZon, who's still unconscious, and Zaya's is next.
I'll follow up with maybe some more shots. I'll drop the shotgun and pull out the rifle.
Same thing, agility, security if you have it.
A 9.
Okay, so you this assault rifle that you have strapped.
You're rolling well.
You pull up like point blank into this thing. Roll damage. We'll say this thing's got a cap of 3, and so you do 3 damage to it, and so that's gonna, and it's gonna start kind of falling back a little bit out of the cloud. As you're shooting inside of it, you nick whatever this kind of tumorous center is, and a bit of this green sludge, this yellowish sludge, explodes outward. Amalka and Zayas, both of you roll agility tests.
8.
Okay, need a 7. Long, you rolled a 6. Is that right?
I didn't roll.
Oh, true damage. Okay, roll your agility test.
He's trying.
Okay, there it is.
Okay. So as you shoot in, a big explosion of like almost like pumpkin seed style is like all over your face at this point, as this thing starts to fall back, kind of collapses down to the ground for a moment, but then begins to kind of rise again as it's sort of like reforming itself as it stands. Lucille.
I would like to get our buddy up. TieZon.
All right, so you go and you grab him, you start dragging him back. I'll say this: roll a strength test, and if you succeed on that strength test, we'll say you can drag him this turn all the way back to the ladder and start carrying him, or like pass him up to Ella or something like that. If you can pass, otherwise it'll take you 2 turns for this. We'll say
10.
Absolutely. You grab
I'm
him
a
so
brick
hard,
shit
and you
house,
just
Jeff.
throw him all the way up to the first level. You just right up the shaft, all the way up, and he just
Just
pops
up the
out.
shaft,
Yeah,
Jeff.
it's great. But yeah, you got him. You drag him, and so you have him over your brick house shoulder, and you're ready to climb up. unfortunately, it's their turn next. And I said that the things I wasn't bringing them in on the last round, but I'm bringing them in on this round. Good news, bad news situation. The one other thing is just sort of sitting there, like stunned at what just happened. But the smaller ones start coming around, and you can see they've got like these golf balls that are in these tendrils that are just sort of flopping around in the air, and they kind of look up and they're pulling themselves.
Launch them at us.
And one of them's going to go after a Malka. These things aren't. Yeah. So it's going to come running up, and it's going to try to leap up and attack a Malka here. That's an 8, so that'll be a success.
Shit.
This has a damage cap of 2. Roll 3, take 2 damage.
I go to -1.
Okay. -1. That means you're also unconscious. Not dying yet, but unconscious.
All right.
Malka, is your turn. TieZon, Zayas, what do you do? It's back around to you. You can see Lucille has grabbed TieZon, is climbing up the stairs, or up the ladder.
Well, partly to her. I'll grab her.
Wait a second, you
Grab
served her
Oh.
for a long time. Okay, you grab her. Again, roll a strength test. If you could do it, I'll say you can grab her and get on the ladder this round. Otherwise, it's going to take you to the next round to kind of get going on the ladder. All right, you grab her. You're at the base of the ladder, but they're going to be able to probably take a swing at you on the next turn, which they'll attempt to do. Lucille, I assume you're climbing because you have TieZon on your shoulder as you're climbing up.
Yup.
And so I think we're going to take one last pop shot before you fully get away. So this will be at Zaya's. It's going to shoot out, like one of the little ones is going to shoot out this little tendril in your direction. And that's good. It's going to be 1 point of damage.
Yeah, it's enough to down me.
And you fall.
Oh no.
And so does Amalka. All right. Lucille, you're the only one conscious at this point. What would you like to do?
Oh fuck.
You hear Ella up above you. I don't want to say I told you so, but
Oh my god. I don't know.
How can
no.
we get up from unconscious? Can we?
we should probably look that up, shouldn't we? But we were in combat, so I didn't think it really mattered just yet.
Just in case it does.
I doubt it does. You're all
Okay.
gonna die.
Probably.
Let's see. Damage deducted from strength. When it reaches 0, you go unconscious. Strength goes below 2, you're dead. A medical officer or an autodoc can administer medical attention, can restore 1 point of strength per hour. If you have a med kit, that can restore a single point of strength.
I have painkillers.
Yeah, what did we say painkillers were doing again?
We did one last time.
Okay, yeah, so if you pop a painkiller, that'll like give you 1 back.
Can I just stab him with a painkiller? Or is it... Oh, these were pills. Just kidding.
Okay, you want to force feed him some pills?
Yeah.
Were they pills? I'm trying to remember.
With Reese, I like fed her the pills and then like held her hand, and then I gave her a sedative.
I don't know. I don't
Was
think
it?
so. I think it actually was an injection.
Okay, I'm gonna stab him with
Okay,
it.
yeah. And he dies because you do 1 point of damage. No,
No.
you right in the neck, and he just. So TieZon, you are on Lucille's back on a ladder. You look down, and you can see piled up a few feet below you, Amalka and Zayas. Zayas has got this little tendril wrapped around him that's connected to something that's out of sight. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna hand him another painkiller.
Okay. So TieZon, what do you want to do?
How can I get off of her shoulder without I'm assuming if I try to get off her shoulder, we'll just fall and die.
You can just like
You're not that
shimmy
high
down.
up. You're not that high up. You're only a
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess then I would just start pouring bleach on these tendrils to try and get them to back off and see if I can pull one of the two of them in the shaft.
Okay. Easy enough to pour bleach. I don't see any problems with that. We'll say at this point that bleach is now exhausted. Who are you grabbing?
I'm assuming that Zaya's is closest to me. It would be whoever is closest to the shaft door, right?
I think he was carrying a Malka, and so a Malka probably fell on top of him. So I would say a Malka is on top of Zaya's would be my guess.
Okay, yeah, then I'll go for a Malka.
Okay, you reach down, grab her, kind of hand her up to Lucille, we'll say. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Where are we in the order? Zaya's, Lucille. We kind of went out of order there, so I think it'll get a chance to go. The little one is going to start. You're going to see it's going to start pulling Zaya's towards it. So you can see as you're looking down, this tendril is starting to recoil a bit, and it's pulling Zaya's with it. That's its turn.
Ooh.
TieZon and Lucille, what do you want to do? Any order is fine.
So I have a Malka.
Yeah, we'll say you have a Malka.
I'm gonna stab her with a painkiller.
Okay.
That brings me from -1 to 0.
Yeah, that's the only problem. But you did it.
I got 1. So
But she doesn't wake up.
I got 2 more coming.
She doesn't wake up. We'll say that like
so-
adrenaline as opposed to painkillers. Adrenaline probably makes more sense
Yeah.
than painkillers.
Can I pick up the assault rifle that Zaya's dropped?
Sure, why not?
So I'll pick that up and then fire at the tendril that's trying to drag him away, so I can
I pick it up and then I leave.
I pick it up and
Okay.
I say we'll go out on our terms.
Nice
and I
knowing
shoot the
ya.
party.
All right. Okay, go ahead and roll. You're shooting at the thing that's dragging in Zaya's. Go ahead and roll an attack. This is going to be agility, security if you have it.
I don't.
And you can take a +1 from using this assault rifle, which is kind of stable.
That would put me at 4 total then.
Oh, yeah, roll your d6. Oh,
I did.
You did.
I got a 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you fire and it goes wildly. It doesn't hit Zaya's at least, but it also doesn't hit your target. So yeah. Anything else you want to do? Move or anything like that? You're gonna stay down here.
And basically, the only thing I'm focused on is getting the tendril off Zaya's and then dragging him into the elevator shaft and getting out. So that's what I'll just keep trying to do until he's not retrievable.
Okay.
Jump out of the way for your safety.
Okay. I think. Sorry, moving in. We're going kind of out of order, so I'm not really worrying about. We're kind of just doing almost like popcorn. I think the infectant will go, but this little dog is just sort of retracting. You can see just pulling him towards him to a point, and like where it's now right in front of this little dog-shaped or small animal-shaped creature that starts to crawl on top, almost like it's about to encompass him entirely. Lucille, you can't see any of this from where you're at because you're a little bit further up the ladder. You have a Malka on your shoulder. You just stabbed a Malka with adrenaline that hasn't kicked her back to consciousness. What do you want to do?
It's probably bad medical practice of me to stab her with more adrenaline, but I'm gonna do it.
Okay, you do it, and Amalka, you pop up. You're awake.
Right.
Like you're feeling a little bit like you're definitely on edge. I don't know, we're kind of playing fast and loose with the rules. I'll say next time you do a pressure check,
I was gonna say, I'm like,
add +1 to it, like as a penalty for like taking so much stuff. Like you're gonna freak out even more. You know what I mean?
So should my level go up?
makes sense.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. Amalka, what do you want to do? You just woke up. You're on the shoulder of Lucille. You're a couple feet up. You can see TieZon below firing. You don't see Zaya's anymore. Last you heard he was. We were all there, but you can't see him. You look up. You see Ella. She's saying, "I told you so." And what do you want to do?
She's just ground control to Major Tom.
There it is.
I got it. That's
70% effort.
it. Done.
All right.
I don't feel guilty anymore.
Good.
I'll start going back down with my gun drawn.
Okay, so you go back down, get your gun drawn. You can see that this thing has climbed on top of Zaya's. I'll let you fire, but it's going to be difficulty of 8 because it's literally sitting on top of him. It's almost like it's about to spread over top of him now.
Okay.
It's a difficulty of 8. It's a little harder to fire.
Alright. 8 or 9.
And you do. Roll your damage. These things have a cap of 2, I think. No, these have a cap of 3.
5.
And you hit the cap, and that is enough to just sort of explode this thing on top of it. And much like the other one, you see this like orange explosion from inside, like yellowy orange, and it just flops down, almost inert. And Zias is still just sitting there. You hear the sounds of other things in the distance, but we'll say just to move this along, you can reach down, you can quickly run out, grab him between you and TieZon. You're able to drag him to the ladder. One by one, you're all able to get back up.
Turn to Ella. You were right. We thought maybe there'd be something cool in the armory, but never mind.
She just sort of blinks at you like this.
I know that look.
Okay, so
It's easy for her to say she doesn't do anything as I grumble with the assault rifle.
You didn't give me any weapons. I'm just sitting here with my hands. I woke you
I
up.
hold up a fist and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's a weapon.
You know, you would be in there and dead if it wasn't for me. I woke you up.
And now we're in a nightmare. Thanks.
Come on, Ella,
mean-
let's go.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so you're back up to level 1.
Christ. Should we have gone? Should we have gone to level 1, or should we have popped out at level 2?
It's up to you.
I think initially we were looking to go to the shuttle. Is that still the plan?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get more
Was it blocked
ammo.
off or no?
There was all you saw was a long dark like not tunnel, but a long dark like small like a mall, like a hallway with lighted almost like theater seating in a direction like towards where you think the shuttles are supposed to. There's like a sign that says shuttle that way. So you're like kind of going off.
Oh,
into
that
the dark.
bodes well. Awesome.
Yeah, that's why I wanted more ammo, because there's always a final boss fight, and we don't have the ammo for it.
That's why we gotta be sneaky.
You
My
know,
conscience.
yeah.
You are not you're at 0, right?
Right.
You're not conscious yet. Somebody has a med kit or wants to administer. I think you need a med kit. Let me double check again.
We do. You said we needed a med kit.
Let's see. This is a medical officer or and you don't have a medical officer, do you?
I have a point in medical.
Okay. It says per hour. Like we'll say if you want, when you get them up there, you can kind of like mouth to mouth CPR type of stuff. Roll a medicine test there, Lucille.
Right.
Okay.
9.
And so you kind of bring him back to consciousness. You feel pretty frail. His eyes, you're covered in some kind of yellowish orange pus, and a little bit got in your mouth.
Ew, I'm gonna give him an antibiotic.
Okay. Oh, it kills him. No. So, you haven't been able to find a key card to get into this security room. You've explored the administration area. You've explored the cafeteria area. You've skipped level 2 and level 4. What do you want to do?
I don't think we want to go to level 4 because we'd have to go past level 3 to get there.
We're trying to go up, so we're not going back down.
So we just gonna go straight to the shuttle then?
Let's get out of here.
Quietly.
Okay.
Are there any other fire extinguishers like on the walls or anything that I can grab?
High or low? Roll a d6. High or low?
Low.
Okay. So 4, 5, 6. No. 1, 2, 3. So no. Unfortunately,
No.
not.
Okay.
Okay. You start moving down that dark movie theater lighting, the trace lighting.
Oh, I gave Zayas back the assault rifle since that was his.
Okay. No problem.
You have a flashlight, right? Somebody's going.
Yeah, I have one.
Okay. You still got that flashlight. You're looking around. You're seeing all sorts of like broken barricades. You're seeing gear that's been sort of dropped along the way. It looks like there's some kind of sample containers that have been dropped and broken open. You see a couple bodies as well as you start moving. It's probably about 150 feet or so of like.
Are any of those bodies military looking?
Oh yeah,
bodies?
actually quite a few. You start going through and like Here's some pistol ammo here, some shotgun ammo there. Sorry.
Your face, Derek.
Sorry. But you can see that, like, by bodies, I do actually mean just sort of like ashy residue. Like, they're not intact anymore, but you see, like, what looks like there's a gun here, a gun lying there. You kind of go ahead and stock up. So, Derek, we'll say you've got, like, 5 more shotgun shells.
I don't have the shotgun anymore. We dropped it.
Oh, that's a shame. But you have 5 shotgun shells.
Yeah, I'll throw the shells at people, no problem.
And then we'll say you have...
You can
Is there a
take the golf club.
shotgun he can pick up?
You find 2 more like ammo resets of your assault rifle, and then you find we'll say 2 more like full rounds for the pistol. And as you get to the top, like there's this big set of doors they're not like they're like stuck, but they're stuck open. And so you're able to push through them, but when you look closely, you can see like the doors are off some kind of track, and these look like heavy doors, like heavy, almost like blast doors, but they're not quite there. And then you step into what looks almost like a train terminal, right? You have like a platform, and there's like these flickering red lights, and you can see that there's tents that seem to have been set up. Looks like there's like a little triage area. There's a handful of beds with like people covered in, like not people, but like sheets and stuff covered in blood. Stuff's been knocked over. You can see that there's stationary monitors like for EKG machines and such, like checking various things. There's like the stand that has what are those things called, like IVs and stuff that have been falling to the ground here and there. But there's a lot of stuff. Like clearly this was they were attempting to set up some kind of command or triage center, and using those heavy blast doors to kind of this was the spot, and something broke through. You also see that there's a vehicle like this. It's like a giant, almost like a Hummer, except it's on it's like on a train track area, but it's got these heavy wheels, like really heavy wheels, almost like an off-road vehicle that are straddling the train track. It itself isn't on the track, but it's like high enough and wide enough to be driven over it. You would guess that there's probably some kind of train shuttle that connects the different portions of this station, right? And this is like its own separate vehicle. Like in the back, there were probably room for about maybe 10 people inside.
I flip down the visor and see if the keys are up there.
You flip down the visor and look for the keys. Because it's funny, they're there.
Awesome.
But you would have been able to find them if you would have like looked around. But yeah, like if you look around. But we'll say it's there. And you can see that there's a long kind of tunnel, we'll say heading right, like kind of eastward, so to speak. And on the wall, you can see like that same kind of different stop setups. So it's like facility, recreation, apartments, landing station. And it's just like one straight line. What would you all like to do?
I got the keys. Should we go?
Yes.
I'm surprised everyone isn't immediately
Everyone's
saying
so
yes, we
sad. I
should
feel like
go.
Everyone's so mad right now. They're like,
I'm done making
we
decisions.
should have just gone like
I'm not
50
mad.
steps that
I'm
way.
waiting.
We would have been fine.
I'm waiting for the shoe to drop.
No. That's like there's a lot of like there's definitely was an abandoned like attempt at like triage, emergency, but also quarantine. Like there's definitely, but there's a lot of like gear that's tossed around, thrown around.
While we were going through the
Any
triage, is there a
medical
med
kits?
kit I can snag?
Yeah, there was. We'll say that there, as you go through, there's 4 intact medkits.
Excellent.
Kind of start piecing this stuff together. You could probably find some kind of bag that starts throwing some of this stuff in.
Cool. Yeah, let's.
Oh, there's actually one
Get
other
out.
thing. You do notice there's this large piece of equipment, probably the size of like a portable generator. It's not a portable generator, but it's like that size. Almost like who's the engineer here?
That's me.
Me. Or
We're both engineers.
Zaya's, yeah.
Yeah, both of you can roll engineer education. Need a 6.
11.
Oh.
Okay. Both of you.
10.
This is a signal jammer.
Oh. That's weird.
Oh, maybe. Is it on or?
It seems. I mean, there's lights flickering.
I'm gonna turn it off, and then
Okay. And as you do, right as you do, all of a sudden the radio that you've been carrying just starts to make all sorts of strange noises at that point. It's like, and you realize it's some kind of feedback from being so close to the jammer, and you pull away. You hear a voice of a woman come on, and identifying, like, it's like she's kind of going through a script, right? It's like, this is the SS Yorktown, calling Outpost 82. Over. Commander Gary, please respond. This is Corporal Sparrow from the SSS Yorktown, calling Outpost 82. Commander Gary, please respond. And that kind of over and over again.
I mean, Yorktown, this is Outpost 82. I am not Commander Gary. We need assistance or extraction.
Copy that. Identify yourself.
Lucille.
Of the Ragnaroks?
Yeah, and
Do you tell her your full name? Like,
yeah.
okay.
And then if I
Are you? And she'll probably ask something like, are you station personnel?
yes.
Copy that. Stand by. And like, what do you guys want to do?
She stopped her script.
Yeah, she stopped. She just said stand by. Likely she's probably getting orders for something.
Let's try and get this thing up and running. Like, see if we can does that need any repair to move?
You can tell that it's taken some damage. Like it like there's some stuff that's been busted and knocked into it. Like you can see, like there's dents in some of the doors and things.
I'm gonna give it to Amelka, and then Zaya's. I'm gonna like point to it and be like, let's see if we can get this thing operational.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead and roll engineering. Normal difficulty of 7 is fine. So like, education engineer.
9 if I add my engineering.
Yeah, you're able to fix a few things. You look at the engine. The engine seems to be mostly fine. There's a big old dent in like the hood that you kind of have to situate, replug a couple things, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it doesn't seem too difficult. Probably takes you maybe about 10 minutes, and in that time, the radio will come back on. Lucille, this is Corporal Sparrow. Please come in. Over.
Yes, here. I'll like yell it and have like Amelka just like hold it up to me or something.
How many in your party there, Lucille?
I'll answer truthfully. 5.
You're to rendezvous with on the landing station. We're sending a shell down for you.
Okay, thank you.
Copy that. Do you have an ETA?
We're there, right?
No, you're
We
not.
have to get over to the station. We have to get past the recreation center and the apartments to get to the station.
How long would you say that would take, possibly?
I mean, I know how long it would take.
Can I pull my thumb off and just say like
Roll it
just
out,
say like within the hour?
Yeah,
Do we
that's
lie?
fine. You would imagine it doesn't take more than an hour.
Lucille will say about 2 hours. We're just getting this up and running.
Say again there, Lucille. 2 hours?
Yeah, I'm working on the thing to get it up and running. It took a lot of damage.
Negative, Lucille. We got orders to bug out here. You got to get here pretty fast if you want to ride.
Okay. An hour? 30 minutes? I'll make it real as fast as I can.
Copy that. We're taking off in 20 minutes here.
Oh, Christ. All right, well, I'm getting off this. I'll meet you there.
And she's just like, copy that, over. She's being like super like professional and stuff. Just
Yeah, and then you got
like, see you
Lucille.
there.
I'm a little
radio
podunk
multitasking.
mechanic.
Okay. All right. So, do y'all want to do anything before you hop in this thing?
What do you...
I feel like we've loaded up as much as we can.
Okay.
What other weapons are there is there any other weapon I can pick up?
Yeah, there's small handguns, assault rifle, shotgun.
I'll just take it. Oh, there is a shotgun? Oh, then I'll just take that.
Yeah, sure, why not?
So we've got medical supplies, we've got weapons. How many no, so there weren't any bodies.
Awesome. Okay. You should be playing
I mean, we
Gemline
don't-
with that, Bill.
Yeah, let's go. We gotta go.
So we don't have any kind of... We can't change our clothes. So once they see us, they're going to see that we're
You
not.
can go back into the
staff.
facility.
No.
There's some... Maybe find some clothes on some of the other levels.
Take some of these vests off these bodies. Put that on.
So, well, we didn't pass bodies.
We would say
found
we
ash.
were
Sound like
decom-
Oh,
just kind of
that-
ash, yeah.
Well, they don't leave behind their vests.
No.
Okay.
we were decontaminating. Because remember we have lab coats that we put on. We had like the suit things, like little foot buddies, stuff like that. Granted, we are covered in blood, but we need to go get in the thing. Let's
That's
go.
4 minutes down right there. Okay.
All right, I'm loaded up.
Right.
Amalka's driving.
Lucille is starting this shit, whether people are on it or not.
Okay. Who's driving?
What does
Amalka, please.
Amalka?
Okay. Malka, you get behind the wheel, and you start driving.
I do.
You
That's
have
what
to.
I do.
It's kind of an awkward turnaround here, but this is. You would recognize this is definitely some kind of all-terrain vehicle, right? It's incredibly heavy, huge wheels. Turns like you're driving a really big Pinto, and eventually you get turned around. It takes a moment or two, but you start driving through the tunnel. Now,
While she's driving, can we use the medkits to heal up so that in case we have to fight something, we don't go down in one hit?
of course.
I don't know how long those take.
I don't think it. Yeah, I gotta double check because I'm looking at my own personal notes. I don't see any time for the med kit. I just see the medical officer. I'm not sure if a med kit has to be used by a medical officer or not in the process. So we'll just say, just for funsies, yeah, take a moment. You can heal up. Everyone, you can
I'll
get a
do
point.
that too.
I'll say everybody.
Does
but
it just
give you a
who's
point?
Driving. Yeah.
Okay,
get you a
so yeah,
point.
once I heal myself, can I do it like just patch her up as best as I can while she's driving?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's probably pushing it. Unless it's her, if it's literally her right arm, that's probably fine. But if it's like her stomach or her legs or something, that might be kind of awkward for her driving.
Okay.
So I'll say no to that, but the rest of you can.
Can we swap off, and when somebody else is healed, they can drive, and then I can...
I don't know. I mean, that means you have to stop, get out. Switch.
It's one of those, like, crawl
Please
over
just
somebody
drive.
and
We have 20 minutes.
No, let's go. Let's
No,
just
I'm
drive.
sorry, correction. You have 13 minutes, Zayas. Okay. So you start driving. A couple of you are patching up, etc.
We're gonna get gunned down. As soon as
Most
we
of the
get there.
way, most of the way, it's just a long kind of tunnel, like dark. You see these lights every, you would imagine, I don't know, 100 yards or so, like kind of these little swirly yellow lights at the top of the tunnel. And you can tell that you're kind of on a slight incline as well, like you're going up a bit.
While we're going, can I just have a little bit of a chat while we're going?
Sure.
Do we need to, like, pick who we are of the people that we know aren't coming? Or how are we going to do this? Like, are we just going to be
What?
us?
I don't know why we're lying. in the first place?
Well, she already said that we're staff, so
Yeah,
what do
but
we
we're
do?
us.
That's her problem. I'm gonna go and be truthful here.
We're technically staff of the company.
Okay.
Which
I
company?
didn't say I was staff of here.
Yeah,
I didn't
just
write it
checking.
down,
Actually,
but it's the
I think she
CW
asked
or whatever.
if you're facility staff.
Oh, well, I probably took it as company staff. That's what I'm gonna say. Anyways, we're
misunderstood.
cruising.
Okay. All right. You can have this conversation as you go. It's no problem. Eventually, the tunnel kind of levels out a bit, and you can start to see that every 100 yards or so, there's these panels along the wall, like these little, like, kind of look, and then you can see that there's almost as if there's like hatches that seem to go outside. And you continue to go and go until you start to see the sides of the walls stop being like metal panels and start instead having like lookout or viewports and stuff. And like above you, there's also some viewports, and you look out and you could just see just brown rock as far as you can see. You can see space immediately above you. You can see
Arizona.
there's a ship that's right there, kind of above you, kind of just hovering around up in orbit. You would probably guess that you're oh god, staph infection. That's fantastic. You would probably guess that you're on some kind of asteroid. Like this, there's no clear atmosphere. You can't see the signs of anything like that. Like everything's really surprisingly close. No signs of vegetation, no signs of trees, nothing. It's kind of this desolate, rocky look to it. Right as like you get to those viewing ports, you realize that you are on your right and your left. You can see that there's like a loading platform here, and you have reached the section of the entire facility. It's got the label on the side that says Recreation Center, and you can see like one of them is sort of like, there's an arrow that points up some stairs to these heavy sets of double doors. You all want to stop and do a workout? Anyone want to stop?
No.
Okay. Continue to drive. You look at your watch. You realize, oh, geez, 5 minutes have already passed. It took you 5 minutes to drive from there to here. You're gonna continue to drive fast as you can. You'll only be able to go a little faster now because you're a little bit more level ground. You can see that there's another one of these vehicles that has been overturned and is kind of flush against the side of the wall in the tunnel that you're in. Barely close to kind of crashing into what looks like a viewing port, like a big old long glass viewing port, or at least transparent viewing port. Eventually you come to another one of these landing pads, landing stations, and you can see that there's a little sign that says apartments, and that's when your radio starts going off, Lucille, and you hear like, hello, is anyone out there? Hello. Okay, and so you just drive by as all of you can hear that, by the way. Help
Lucille
us.
turns it down a little bit.
Just help us. We've got up, and that's it. Okay.
I'll take corruption for that. 5 points.
Corruption in this game. It's great. There's no moral judgments in this game, Ashley. But honestly, yeah, you probably should take corruption. So yeah, you keep going, and eventually you get to a block in the wall. Like the tunnel ends. It's like you look down, you probably got about 5 minutes. You made it here, like probably like 5 minute intervals in between each stop or something like that, roughly. And you can see that there's this heavy door in front of you, like, and there's all sorts of warnings and such. There's small little hatches off to the right, to the left, these little offices areas. You would surmise most likely that is that giant door is not one that is open lightly, and probably is a pressure door, meaning anything on the other side is probably vacuum space. But you can see as you kind of look out one of the viewing points, there's this big old landing area. You can see off in the distance there's like a ship of some kind that's just laying, and it's just sitting there. It's a small ship, some kind of like shuttle of some kind. You also see, when you look up, there seems to be another one that's coming down.
Lucille will hop back on comms, calling for Yorktown.
Okay. And copy that, Yorktown, or copy that, Lucille. This is Corporal Sparrow of the Yorktown. We are T-minus 4 minutes till touchdown.
I'm right outside this, she'll describe like the locked gate or whatever, coming from apartments.
Copy that. 4 minutes. 3:30 now.
Can we be let in, please?
What's that?
Amolka's gonna look around. Is there some sort of pad or something that we would?
Yeah, there's like little offices, like little by this door. Like there's little offices and things like that.
Guess we're gonna hop out and open it somehow. So I'll go look around.
Is there anything inside the vehicle that we can use to open it up?
Like a garage door
Okay,
opener?
yeah, that's what I
No,
was
there's
thinking.
not a
No,
garage door
like
opener.
one of those like pin pad things.
No, it doesn't know. There's nothing like that.
Oh Christ!
I'll jump out with Zaya and see
Yeah.
what we can find.
Yeah, okay. So you hop out, and you can see that there's like small little kind of utility room, little various knobs and switches, etc. You'd say this is likely some kind of control area. You can see that kind of across, when you kind of look out one of the small windows, you can see like the actual train shuttle is outside the blast door on like the landing pad area, kind of tipped off to the side, like it's broken, it's crushed in some way. You can see there's a small, like a little, like a locker room. You can see a series of lockers. You can see a handful of like EVA suits, and you can see a couple like a little coffee pot and everything in here as well.
There's no big button that says like door open or anything like that.
Is there like a service tunnel that we can take from one side to the other?
There's like maintenance exits. Like you can see, like you can go out for sure. Absolutely.
I think we have to suit up.
Yeah, put
Yeah,
on
you
the
gotta
suit and
suit
just
up.
walk out.
Yeah, it looks like you gotta kind of suit up.
Let's fucking suit the fuck up.
Okay, so you all start suiting up. So, and you hear it probably takes you a couple minutes, and at that point, Corporal Sparrow gets on like, Lucille, we are outside. You got, let's go. We get double time this out here.
We're suiting up in our EVA suits.
Yeah, we suit up and exit as soon as we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, for you, Ella quickly puts one on, and you all.
I don't know space stuff, Jeff. This is.
I don't know. I've never been to space. I don't know nothing about space. Okay.
We're all in space right now.
So you open up like this little maintenance door, right? And you kind of go through like this little sort of double airlock, and you are suddenly like you're buoyant or whatever. Like you can feel like the decompression happen, and it's there's these little runs, like these little runs of ropes and small little pillars in the ground that kind of leads to certain areas, like different spots on the landing pad. And you can see off in the distance, about 100 yards away, this shuttle has landed right in front of you. So like there's this big open giant area, broken down little train. In the distance there's another ship, and like 100 yards away from you, straight ahead, there's this shuttle.
The last one's there is dead space meat. So here we go.
Okay, so I want all of you to do a pressure roll as you're doing this like final run, like chariots of fire.
Okay, Jeff.
Do we roll bonus or level?
Okay, so the first thing, let me pull up the thing. The first thing you got to do is you got to roll you click the bonus first.
Oops.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so when you do a pressure roll, you run 1d6 plus your pressure bonus. If you just click on the bonus button, it'll automatically do that for you. You need to roll 10 or higher to pass. Did anybody fail?
Everybody? Oh, everybody but
Zayas
Zayas.
passes. Not Zayas. Zayas is way out in front. No problem. Anybody who failed, you increase your pressure level by 1.
Okay.
Okay. When your pressure level reaches 2 or more, You have to roll to see if you suffer an episode. So
Yeah, I'm at 4.
Okay, roll a d6. And if you roll less than your pressure level, you have an episode.
I don't.
Okay, so it looks like TieZon and Malka. This is stressful, but you're keeping it together. But
I'm not.
Lucille
Even
is
myself.
panicking like crazy, and so you're gonna.
Am I able to talk her out of it using Liaison?
No, not at the moment. This is just at this point. It is what it is. Let's roll. What's your level at there, Lucille?
4.
Okay. So 4. That means you don't get catatonia. That's fine. The door opens, and the vastness of space just opens above you. You see this massive warship, like this, it might be a warship. It's just giant ship in front of you, presumably Yorktown.
The last huge ship we
You look
saw
up, and it's
was
just
fucking awful.
You're just overwhelmed by the pressure of it all. You can barely communicate and are rooted to the spot in fear. And so all of you are running, and all of a sudden you're looking around and you realize there's Lucille 5 feet out of this little maintenance door to come out on the landing pad, and she's just up there, kind of staring at like this ship that's floating overhead, not moving. So you remain this way until the source is removed or you are removed, and once this happens, all attributes are reduced by 1 point. So TieZon, we'll say you notice it, and you go kind of running back a little bit of the ways. You all are on kind of comms in these helmets. Go ahead and roll Liaison to see if you can kind of snap her out of this. So go Charisma, hit your Liaison bonus. It's fine. Can't really slap her in the face. Okay. So she's just like...
It didn't add my modifier for some reason.
But you put
I
it,
rolled the...
Did you put it in?
Yeah, I put it in the mod. Yeah, I put it in the mod section, but it says 0. So it rolled a 4 on the d6 plus my charisma of 4. So the mod would be 2 to make it 10.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. I see what you're saying. Okay, so we'll say she's like kind of what? And she's still kind of out of it at this point. She's just kind of babbling.
I'm just singing to myself, and I would do anything for love.
So good. You grab her by the wrist and you just start running. You're like pulling her from behind. You've got her, and she's coming with you. But if you let go, you're pretty sure she would just probably stop at this point. It's so wonderful. That wasn't 70% effort. That was 100% effort, actually. Okay.
With the tears.
So as you're running, you see the door, this back door lowers down of this shuttle, and you can see these 2 people step out. They got some kind of guns. They got their helmets on, and they're there kind of taking flanking positions, and they're like waving you in. Wait. They're waving. And then you all kind of, is anyone doing anything, or are you all just getting on?
Just getting on.
Running on.
You run in, door closes up. They're all kind of communicating. They're like signaling you like what channel they're on, so you kind of switch your little communicators a bit. And they're like just 5 of you? Which one of you's Lucille?
And I'm still singing to myself like I've lost it.
Okay, but I won't clip that. That's fantastic. Okay, and you can see like, are there any more?
Are you guys gonna mention the people at apartments? I'm mentally gone, so it's up to y'all.
Yeah.
I would
Servers
just,
and people.
yeah, we couldn't get to them in time. Time was too strict, or windows too small.
Okay. And they're like, okay. Like, and then you hear like I'm saying to somebody else, all right, we got 5. Go. And you can see, you can kind of feel as the shuttle kind of comes up and it starts to fly up. It's like, did you see Commander Gary?
No, but we can hand them the name tags and the patches and the dog tags of the 3 soldiers we did run into.
Okay. They haven't, like this. The back of the shuttle is still hasn't been like, they haven't put like air into it yet, but you can feel it's kind of coming in at this point. After like probably about 2 minutes, like he's like, gives you the thumbs up. You take it off. You hand it off. Like, what the hell what's going on down there?
There's these creatures, nothing like you've ever seen. They do these things. They dissolve you. They take you. I don't understand.
What the hell are you talking about?
They were doing experiments on people to make stronger people, and
Stronger people? We said they're freaking Union insurgents down there. What the hell's going on?
I'll hand him the data that we copied over.
And he's just like, he's just a grunt. Like, this is just a grunt guy. He's like,
Okay.
I don't know what to do with this.
Give it to your commander. I don't know.
Okay. Our commander's down there.
Not anymore.
no.
So he's like, tell it to the XO. And so, like,
Yeah.
it's going up. And eventually, like, as you're going up, you're kind of relaxing. You look down, you can hear like thump, thump. And like these two large like warheads go down onto the facility below. It just start blowing up this facility below you.
Yeah.
Kev.
We got blast that whole rock.
And as you're sitting there, kind of like exhaling a little bit, you kind of look around and you hear.
I have stayed in my evac suit.
And you look
It's
over,
Ella.
and you can see Ella is kind of coughing a bit, a little gas coming out of her mouth. Every time she coughs, though, her face just sort of separates. These little strings, little fibers begin to.
Am I able to put the gun to her head and
Pistol.
pull the trigger?
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll.
Wait, can we is there anybody around? Can we just get a straight flamethrower? Just burn her up?
I want to remind you all, you're in a very small shuttle
That's true. Ah,
in a vacuum.
that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was just going to put the shotgun up to her head and just pull
Okay.
the trigger before she transforms.
Pistol too, yeah.
Hang on one second. Let's go ahead.
We had the same thought. Just needs to stop quickly.
All right, let's see if you can do something before she does something. All right, go ahead and roll initiative. See if you can get the jump on her before she's ready to do something. She rolled a 7.
As did I.
Okay. Why is yours not? Are you not clicking the initiative button?
I am.
It's so weird. I don't know why yours isn't popping over. Are you doing
I
it
may
too
just do
early?
it too quickly.
Yeah,
It's possible.
You gotta wait till I start to encounter.
Yeah, I had a 7. Do you want me to roll a d6? Because I tied
go
with
ahead.
her.
Lucille, what did you get?
2.
Okay. And so, let's
3
see.
was my d6 roll.
Okay, rolling as well. She got a
Oh,
6.
damn.
So she's going to. So TieZon, you go and you go to put the gun right up against her, and she's just gonna shoot out like this like her arm. You see it just goes towards you, and as it reaches, it elongates and then begins to twist and kind of unravel a bit, and starts to wrap around your head. That's what it's going to attempt to do. All right, so this is strength. That's a 12. So you take 1 point of damage. I rolled minimum damage. So you take 1 point of damage as this thing reaches out and just right over top of your face and smashes you against the hull of the ship. And like you hear the corporal who's it's like, what the hell is that thing? What the hell is that thing? So then it'll be your turn, Amalka. What do you want to do?
I definitely want to pistol to the sensitive spots and
Okay.
shoot it.
I'm going to say, if you roll a 1 on your shots, if you roll a 1 on the die, on the d6, you miss, that means it's going to potentially puncture the hull of the ship.
Understood.
Okay?
I'm getting
Even
pretty
a
close
pistol?
to do this.
Just for funsies.
Oh, okay.
Just danger.
Uh-oh.
You rolled a
Rolled a
2.
2.
You rolled a 2. So you start firing, but it's like shifting and moving, and every time you just see her just kind of exhale, and like parts of her just split, and it just misses, and it embeds into like a seat cushion that's just below like where the metal panels are for the outer. It's just a shuttle. It's just a simple shuttle.
Who also has their things on?
Well, since they signaled
it's
us
up
to
to
take
you.
him off, I don't think anyone did.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I mean
That one guy
the
did.
soldiers took him off. Like there was two people and they both took him off. It's fine. Okay. Let's see. Search that really quick. All right.
Because like I want them to put it back on, and then I want us to like try and hold on to something, and maybe consider opening the back
All right.
of the butt up and just launching it out.
TieZon, what would you like to do?
I guess I'm just gonna shoot it with a shotgun.
Okay.
That's really all I can do.
Do it. Go for it.
I am so scared.
It does. Yeah, you got to roll your damage, your d6. That's 5 points of damage. As this thing just erupts. You can see the whole torso just erupts, and you cut her in half. And all of these little particulates just start flying all over the place inside of this tiny shuttle, just floating, and like some of you are like kind of getting hit in the face with little particulate matter, these little tiny tendrils kind of getting caught in your hair, and your ears start worming in. But she limply, like the arm that was once attached to your face, just kind of goes limp, and you can feel it's still wrapped around your head, but there's not pressure anymore to it. But as it kind of falls to the ground, you can see the other two officers kind of come over to like, what? They're gonna shoot down at the fibers until one like you could hear on the horn like, stop the fire! What the hell is wrong with you? That kind of thing kind of coming on there. But she seems laying there inert. Do y'all do anything with that?
I say to the crew, I'm like, can this section of the ship be sealed off? And can you jettison it into space? Like, you don't want to play with this.
And they're like kind of like what Lucille was saying, like, helmets back on, strap yourselves in. Like they all start like putting their helmets on. Kind of you see like there's all sorts of these different straps and stuff. You sit in certain chairs, and they open up the back door, and whoosh, it all kind of flies out into the unknown. And then moments later, like you hear on the voice, like Corporal Sparrow goes on, kind of waving you all in, and like you can see like the two corporals that are in the back with you are like freaking out, like, what the hell was this thing? What the hell's going on in here? But eventually the shuttle lands like inside this massive ship, this carrier of some kind, and as the door opens, you can see like there's like this crew of people like that are ready, like they got guns and are kind of pointing up at you. They're kind of looking at you here and there. This one dude kind of steps up out of nowhere, standing next to like what you presume is the XO. You can kind of see by the markings on the collar. Kind of steps up. They hold, like they're coming up to each one of you, like this person in this like white coat, while the guns are drawn and pointing at you all. And like this person with these big old glasses, like, please make sure to keep the guns on them. Be ready for anything. Comes up, goes up to you one at a time, goes up to a Malka. It's like one of those things where they're like looking in your ear. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of holds it, and as they do it, and as they put it up to your ear, like into the canal, they press a little button, and you can hear the faintest hum, like, and it really like kind of irritates you to the point where you kind of squint. It's like a countdown, and then they like go, this one's clear, you can take her away. They kind of go up to TieZon, kind of does the same thing, and then Zayas, Lucille, one at a time.
Just give me a second. I take a sip first.
Like, shoot him now. They seem to be clear. You can let them on the ship. It's fine. But keep them in quarantine, the corporals as well. All of them are kind of in these like hazmat suits, kind of covered up here and there. They got these big old heavy, like heavy colorful coats on, and they kind of lead you to like these very stark rooms. Cots have been set up, and all the while those corporals and the pilot are like, what the fuck is going on, man? This is bullshit, and like yelling at their XO and stuff. But you're like put into like this little quarantine room for a while, and then we'll go ahead and just say like after a certain point we kind of flash forward a bit, so we're kind of closing it down. Camera fades, kind of comes up, and it's like 6 months later, and it has like at the bottom there's like this little like Earth or like Outpost such and such, right? And we're in like a little interview room, and like you all are on one side, and you can see someone comes in dressed in a suit. They got a little like briefcase and such like in their hand as they're wandering in. They set it down on the table and they flip it up, and they say, the company would like to extend their deepest apologies for what you have had to endure. We have gone ahead and concocted a story to satisfy. Now, all of you are company agents, of course. You'll have to adhere to standard NDA, and we've sent double benefits to your families who believe you are dead, and it's probably best that it remains that way. Again, we are very sorry. We'll need your signatures here, and we'll be able to get you back to work as quickly as possible. And just kind of slide this little sheet over to you, and then kind of each one of you has like a little pen in front of you, ready to sign it.
And if I were to decline, TieZon's just twirling the pen around on his fingers. What would you have done with me?
You're free to decline, of course.
What would the outcome of that be? I've got people very close to me that...
We'll have to strip the benefits that you received, that your family received. As for you, well, I wouldn't recommend it, let's say.
Doesn't sound like much of a choice, then.
Everything's a choice, Mr. TieZon.
I mean, Lucille might sign it, but she doesn't really have family or anything. Is there any more need of more researchers?
As I said, we'll find something to do with you.
Amalka signs.
Okay.
Yeah.
My family hates me anyways. I'll just sign it.
Okay.
TieZon's just twirling the pen, just like kind of in shock, and just like hastily signs it, scrub, and just like walks away, doesn't even say anything, just leaves the room.
Picks one up, but well, they won't let you have the room actually. Like,
okay.
They take each one of the signs, puts it back into the briefcase, closes it, clicks it. Excellent. Kind of gets up now. If you follow me, opens the door, kind of leads you, and we start like we're in another. As we start passing through the halls, it's like the same kind of layout. It's like the administration office area, and like you see that circular elevator area. It's like the same kind of outpost, but just sort of somewhere else. And you can see that the same, but all of it's intact. All these little monitors are up. There's a little security. There's those security chambers off to the left. There's elevator down to the basement, and you just start walking with him into like the terminal that's heading towards the shuttles once more, and that's what we'll close it down right there. As this little adventure will come to a close.
Oh.
Nice.
I was just thinking I probably should have read that a little bit maybe before signing.
Yeah, it's all good. It's fine. I just wanted to close down. It's getting pretty late.
Oh boy.
Okay. So that is the end of Infectant at Outpost 82. Kind of thing inspired. Kind of part thing, part expanse. Early expanse anyway. All right. What do we got going on? We got Alien
on
Monday. We're going to be back next week, Saturday. I don't think we've decided what we're going to play yet. We're kind of bouncing around. Mutant Year Zero is on hold currently while Logan he's working a lot, unfortunately. So we're going to put that on hold.
Saving lives, getting shit done.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we're going to get it in January. We're going to hope to, but it's on hold briefly. But we have a bunch of other games that we're looking to kind of power through here and there. So check us out next Saturday, same time. We'll probably have another game of some kind. But for now, Alien on Monday for sure at 9 Central. And yeah.
And we all lived.
Exactly.
We all lived.
Did you?
Maybe.
Or was the check really just deciding whether or not you guys were infected? No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. You guys all lived. It's fine. I mean, Kev died.
He did. Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
And all of TieZon's,
And all those people in the
all of TieZon's
apartment.
crew. It's interesting because, like, it's so funny when you guys went down. I'm like, I can't believe they're going down. Like, this is hilarious.
Well, it's hard to know because you
Oh,
throw
yeah.
so many times of like doubt. It's just like, no, like
Yeah.
there's gonna be a final boss fight, and I don't have enough ammo.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to get into the
Yeah.
armory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the character's like, no, don't go. I'm like, oh, this is just to make it more dramatic. Like we don't have to. Like you can never know if it's actually a red
know.
herring or if it's actually like a no, don't do this.
That's a good thing, right? Or is that a bad? I think that's a good thing. I don't know.
I mean, we
keeps it
didn't die,
interesting.
so it was a
Yeah.
good thing.
We did.
If
I
we
just
had
was
died,
like,
it would have been a bad
if
thing.
I lied, I kept thinking, man, they're going to be so mad when they go to leave when they see all this other shit they got us.
It's the drama.
They're gonna be
Mwah,
so
delicious.
mad. Like, that's what I was laughing at. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, dude, they just all they had to do was walk that way. They would have seen all this other stuff. Oh, so good.
It was kind of a cool, like in an elevator shaft fight thing, though.
Sort of. Yeah, like on a ladder thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to use your golf balls, so
They came in
Already.
handy.
That was pretty
They did.
funny. Like, these little creatures reaching out and grab them. We're gonna play more of this at some point. We like this.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. So I'll work on something else for it. I'm not sure. I don't have anything currently planned, but like I want to get back to this. Plus, this is super easy to develop adventures for since the rules are so light, and you can do kind of whatever you want with it. But again, this is the game we were playing is Those Dark Places. You can get it this little book, or you can get it in PDF. It's really fun if you like rules light industrial sci-fi horror. Doesn't have to be too much horror, but yeah, it's fun.
We're going to make Melissa run the next one.
Oh, we are? This is
Melissa did
new
not know
information.
that. So check us out on Monday, Alien. I'm gonna go ahead and put us on the end screen. You can also check out our YouTube channel, Adventures in Lollygagging. We got all sorts of old stuff up there. If you want to catch up on anything that we've already played, plenty of our actual plays are up there. And that is it for now. And thanks for watching. Thanks for those who hung out in channel. Thanks for forcing Ashley to sing. We appreciate that. That was really good. But we're going to go up on the end screen, and I'll find somewhere else to raid. So if you want to hang on, we'll find somebody else to bring you to. So good night, everybody.
Bye.
See
Good
ya.
night, guys.